Good evening, everyone, and my brightness is a bit off again. I don't know why, but yeah. Hi, let me fix a few things. How are we doing today, Gregor? Welcome to the stream. We'll be playing with the camera settings for whatever reason, and also long sleeved. Hey, it's actually gotten to the point here finally that we get to enjoy like some cold-ish weather. It's not exactly like cold weather, but ish. At least cold enough to like actually start drinking hot beverages like more regularly. Hey, Jungle Robot, hi, how's it going? How are we doing today? It's like long time no see, like a week or so. Not that I'm not that I'm like obsessing over it, like there's like that meme. What was like Psycho Girlfriend meme or something? I can easily see that. Like, it's been a week since you've been in my streams. God. But yeah, today was a very, 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 very interesting day. I kind of need music for that. There you go. Ah, check that out. Yakuza 0. You know, that one game that, like, the 100-hour long Mahjong simulator with, like, maybe 20 hours of other things in it. But yeah, today was like a very, very, very interesting day because we've had server issues at work, which meant I got the distinct pleasure of driving an hour to work, hanging around work for like an hour again or so, and then spending another hour coming back because like they sent us to work home because there were like several like tech issues at work. So it was fun, like wasting half my day just like driving to and from work. But yeah, other than that, it's been like very tiring. Okay, there's like a secret story mode. Yeah, there's like something about like some gangs or something. I'm not exactly sure. It's hard to focus like on all the like the optional stuff when you need to focus more on like the serious bits, the mahjong and stuff. I hate so much that I'm this close to finishing that game, and all it takes is for me to somehow learn and master like an entire like strategic aspect of like board gaming or something. Why am I actually? It's not sweat. I don't know like what this is. I did go out a bit briefly to like take out the trash and it was raining, so maybe that was it. But in that case, I'm kind of dry here. Who knows? Bit the bullet and got a 512 gigabyte SD card for the deck. Interesting. How much did that cost, out of curiosity? If I may ask, cause I've got like the I don't remember which one do I have. I think I have like a 128 one, plus the I have a 256 one plus the 64 gigabytes that is like the onboard memory. I mean, I was kind of assuming that there'd be like a deal during like either like Black Friday in 3 weeks or like Cyber Monday after that. I guess I can just like probably find one off of Amazon and it can like it can arrive whenever. It's probably gonna arrive around Christmas if I order it during Black Friday, but who cares? I mean, it's not like I immediately need the space. I've already got like 10 games installed on the deck, and they're kind of all gathering dust while I'm fooling around in Persona 5. And that was also the case before Persona 5 when I was spending all of my time just playing Yakuza 0. So, I thought I may just like see there's like a 512 or like I don't know. Do they make like a terabyte ones? If that's the case, maybe just like have an idea, just like get one of those. Yeah, World is big. Like it's like what 60, 70 gigabytes or something. 1 terabyte is 120. Yeah, I mean like. There's probably gonna be like a Black Friday sale, right? Like Amazon always does those, and I might as well just like get off the German one. So it would probably take 3 to 4 weeks to arrive. But again, it's not like I'm in any rush or like hurting for space. Because generally all the stuff that I want to play on the deck are not particularly big. Like there's Persona 5 at 20 something gigabytes, there's Yakuza 0, which is another like 15 or 20, I don't actually remember. Oh, with Iceborne is 90, okay, fair enough. Fair enough, that's like a lot. Okay, what else do I have installed on my deck? Let me try and remember, because like I said, I've got a lot of stuff installed on there, but I've only been playing Persona 5, so I don't even remember what's on there at the moment. Yeah, I've seen you play Final Fantasy 7. Are you were you done with Persona, or are you like taking a break? Because I remember you were playing Final Fantasy 7 a while back, and then there was, I guess, God damn it, I was gonna say Strange Journey, but it's not Strange Journey. It's like Soul Hackers. Oh, just the usual focus issues. Yeah, I'm actually having to force myself to not start any more games, because it's like a thing. I kind of broke my rule the last month and went out and bought a few games that I really wanted for a while. So there was like a game a few years ago on the Vita. Also, hey Marcus, hi, how's it going? How are we doing today? So there was like a game on the Vita a few years ago called Labyrinth of Refrain, which is basically like a JRPG dungeon crawler thing. It's a bit like Etrian Odyssey, but without the map-making bits. So I never ended up getting that on the Vita. So when I saw it was on Steam, I immediately put it on my wish list. And they have like a sale going on Fanatical for like their 10-year anniversary or something like that. And that one was on there for like 15 or like 20 euros. I don't remember exactly. So I kind of like ended up buying that off of there. And I've kind of been itching ever since to try it, because I've had my eye on it for very long. And there's also Deathloop that I got off the previous Humble Bundle. So I mean, it's been like quite literally me wanting to like try a bunch of things on the deck and forcing myself to, you know, keep on Persona 5, please, until you finish it. please stay on Persona 5 until you finish it, Gregor. But yeah, what do I have on my on my Steam Deck at the moment? It's Persona 5 Royale. It's Yakuza 0, because I'm not uninstalling it until I'm at least done with the what they call the mahjong bits. Never mind like the playthrough New Game Plus. I've got a little game called Battle Chef Brigade, which I don't know if anyone's heard of that. It's kind of like a platforming take on, I guess like the Atelier games in a way. So it's like mix of hunting like for materials off of enemies in 2D platforming bits, and then using those materials in a kind of like match 4 mini game to cook foods with. It's interesting. I don't think it's gonna hold my attention long enough to just like do everything in the game, but it's interesting. And so that's on the Steam Deck. I've got was like Gungeon, Enter the Gungeon on there, but I'm kind of feeling it's one of the few cases where like mouse and keyboard is probably gonna work better for that game, so I haven't put quite enough time into it. God, what else was there? There's like 10 games on there. You know what? Fuck it. Give me just a moment. Be right back. Yeah, the music's fun anyway, so BRB. There you go. Because my memory is for like full of holes at the moment. So yeah, Persona 4 vibes. It's like I've actually got a playlist for like everything that plays in the background on stream on Discord. If you wanna get it, it's like on Spotify. So yeah, let's see. I have installed 13 games. Yeah, because I installed a couple more because clearly if I'm not playing 10 of the games that I have installed, 13 is gonna do it better for me. So yeah, it's Battleship Brigade. It's Enter the Gungeon, which I've said already. Yakuza 0, it's Persona 5 Royal. There's Azure Striker Gunvolt, which I actually found a lot more enjoyable on the deck than on the 3DS, where I also own the game. Don't ask me how or why. There's Celeste, where I've been on and off kind of dying all the time, trying to get the seasides, and probably kind of, failing. Also the game, the songs that's playing at the moment, you might be kind of curious as to what it is. This is the Sogno di Volare, or like Song of the Dream of Flight, I think. Song of Flight or something, which is the Civilization 6 main new theme. Or like main theme, maybe. I don't remember if it's like the intro theme or like the main new theme. I kind of like this. It's like it's a bit different than what I have on the playlist otherwise, but I enjoy this one as well. Also see the Civilization 4 theme, Baba Yedu. If you like this kind of music, it's like really good. But yeah, let's see. Let's like Celeste. I've got this Gaia. In which I've got like 40 odd hours, and I've kind of lost all interest in playing that because Millimage wasn't joking when he said that game is like pure grind. After you get like through most of the story, the rest of it is just, endless grind, which is fine, I guess, but also not something I'm really in the mood for, especially when I have Persona for the grinds. There's DMC, the reboot, or like something, which I'm gonna be honest, I only downloaded to like check and see how well it controls on, handheld. Turns out it handles pretty well, and I might actually revisit it once I'm done with Persona 5 and, well, this is the other one that I've been playing a lot of on here, which is Into the Breach. I don't know if you've seen me... Like, if you've seen, like, notifications pop up on Steam, if, I often just, like, do this on Sunday afternoons when it's kind of, like, very slow days. I'll just, like, pop into the breach and just do 1 or 2 runs. It takes, like, 45 minutes to an hour max. It's like, really good for, like, small, gaming sessions, basically. Kind of like FTL in that regard, but even kind of like more condensed, shorter, kind of more focused, because there's like only like very few units you have to worry about, and because it's fully turn-based, it's also a lot easier to, not panic and do dumb shit, even though I do tend to do dumb shit overall. Anyway, there's also Vampire Survivors, which I haven't played in like ages. There's Tales of Vesperia, which honestly I didn't like that much. And there's also Shift Quantum, which is something I had lined up for Belgian Games Month. Just like put the deck up here. But yeah, I actually had like Shift Quantum all lined up for Belgian Games Month. And it turns out the 2 most recent patches kind of broke support for Windows 10, so turns out it's a great game to play on the Steam Deck because it doesn't run Windows, it runs, the Steam OS, like Linux, I guess. So yay, there's like that to be said for compatibility. I think I also have like the first Valkyrie profile, the PSP ISO on there. But I ended up not playing that because the moment I launched it, I realized, nope, I kind of want to stream that, so I am not going to spoil myself. Hey, Leoktra, hi, how's it going? How are we doing today? How are we feeling? Also coffee. And on that note, I should probably just get the day in gaming out of the way, because I mean, I'm okay. It's been going. It's like, whoa. Thank you for the resub. 16 months. And Manaway, hi, how are we doing today? Okay, give me just a moment, because I again forgot how to pop out the advertisement bullshit. Have I mentioned enough how much I hate that? Because I hate that. That's like dumb shit that sucks. And I have to do it so that that Twitch doesn't do it for me. Yay. So the fucking thing tells me we've got 42 minutes to go through this day in gaming. Let me just like get around to it. And yeah, how is everyone today? Hope you enjoy the tunes. Hope you enjoy the game after the tunes, which is gonna be Stasis today. A game that I have not played at all, but from screenshots I kind of figured to be a bit like Sanitarium, if anyone's ever played that. Can they just add in a pop-up window? I mean, yeah, that would be the dream, right? But then you'd probably have like a much harder time convincing what they call our advertisers that people are actually watching those and not just like putting them on like a third or fourth screen or like minimized to like this big. I mean, I get why they need to do it, but the way they're going about doing the whole ad thing is painfully bad. Like, I don't think like forcing people is the way to go. And I particularly don't think forcing people of my channel size, which is to say like max 10 people at most on a good day, if the stars align, I'm gonna get like 10 or maybe 15 people watching. So yeah, I don't actually think like forcing me to run ads is gonna make them any money. Maybe like 5 to 10 cents every year. And also, like, my personal philosophy is if you see something advertised that aggressively, immediately just like boycott it. Like, there's like a few places in Cyprus that I will absolutely not buy from because of how in your face their ads are. It's so annoying. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. For me, the annoyance is a big factor that has the exact opposite of like effect of what they're going for. What to say? I mean, they do have like an incentive program for partners, so I don't see why you wouldn't, leverage that instead and give people control over when and where they will put up the ads. Like if someone wants to like get up and like have a bathroom break or just like get like a coffee refill, like let them control the ads so that they can show them when they do that. So people have something to, fill up the lull in activity without feeling bad. And you wouldn't actually force automatic ads at a point where, the game might have something interesting happening, right? So, I don't know. Clearly, I'm probably not thinking the $1 million thoughts because I'm not Amazon, but, it kind of seems lately that Amazon isn't Amazon either because they're not thinking the $1 million ideas either. And with that thought, I'm kind of reminded there's like 38 minutes to go. So let's go to this day in gaming. I was gonna say winter edition, but it's not really winter here yet, unfortunately. We did get like a lot of bad weather, but still I can like barely justify long-sleeved hoodies with the sleeves pulled up. Unfortunately, but you know what? It's slightly colder weather, and I get to drink one of these without bursting into fire, and I'll take what I can get, honestly. just like hope it goes like slightly lower than that by the end of November. But yeah, speaking of which, yeah, a few seconds of last pause and 2 ads. Yep. Or there's like even someone did a mock-up when they started forcing people to run ads, where someone was doing a Dark Souls 3 run, and the moment they got the kill, it jumped to like picture-in-picture ads and it muted the stream. So, you know, it was clearly like a mock-up. It wasn't actually something that had happened because that system wasn't in place at the time. But it was a really simple and effective way to show how, you know, powerful moments in someone's stream can get just like fucked over by the ad timing. Which kind of sucks because it also forces someone who's streaming to pay attention to yet another thing. And streaming is hard enough when you have to pay attention to your production tools, like the streaming tools and the chat and like whatever it is you're doing to entertain people, or like, you know, play games, do the dumb day in gaming thing that I'm doing, etc., without having to have like a fourth thing with like the ad timer in the corner of your eye and like try and keep you know, your attention on that as well. Not to mention light levels, sound levels, ambient sound, like if your connection is working correctly. Like it's like one of those houses of cards that like you spend so much time kind of like building the perfect balance until you get used to like having your attention all over the place. And then Amazon kind of like hops into the room and throws like an entire deck of cards on top of that, and like the whole thing kind of like comes crumbling down. But yeah. Anyway, because I do actually want to check out the game that we're streaming today. Let me get through the day in gaming pretty fast, because there's not a lot of games today. Let's see. This day in gaming, November 8th. 8th. Yes. Okay, I got it. I'm actually missing teeth here and here, so it's kind of like a hard phoneme for me to do. At least without like spitting all over the microphone. And that's not what this stream is for. You are looking for Gregor ASMR, which is the after hour stream. Anyway, this day in gaming, we start off 22 years ago, November 8th, 2000, with a game some of you may have heard, like a relatively unknown little like shooter called Counter-Strike, making its appearance on PC. At the time, what was it, like a Half-Life mod at the time, I think? Was it like the original version? Because before it, the first one, like the Counter-Strike, is like 2000. It's not like Source, it's not like Global Offensive, it's not Ultra Mega Climax Enhanced Edition or whatever like they're putting out nowadays. It's like the first like the Half-Life mod one, not the Quake mod, the Half-Life mod. Yeah, the original mod, I guess, had like its commercial. Wait, no, Quake. The Quake mod was Team Fortress. Never mind. I'm thinking of different mods. But yeah, this is the original standalone Half-Life mod release. If that makes sense. There's like so many games nowadays that made their start as mods, which is kind of interesting. Like if you think about it, like Dota made its start as like a Warcraft 3 map, I guess. Map/mode. Counter-Strike was a mod originally. That whole like prop hunt thing, I think, was like originally a mod before it became like, you know, witches versus peasants or whatever the games are called. Vintage Story. I haven't heard of that one. I was actually thinking of Team Fortress 2 as like one of the more successful ones, because originally Team Fortress 2 was kind of like a gritty, war, like team versus team thing, I think, in like I guess like the Quake 2 engine, and then they made like things like a Half-Life, kind of like they jumped to Half-Life, and then it kind of like spun off into its own thing. But yeah, I had actually like seen screenshots of what the original Team Fortress looked like, and it was like basically World War II thing. That's a Minecraft mod. Yeah. I mean, again, like it's like a lot of games that made their start as mods, which is nice. Or as like student projects. Portal was originally like a student project called like Tubucular something or some other. I don't actually remember exactly what it was called, but like the story goes, it was like a project by 2 students, and Valve kind of like saw it and kind of like brought them on board to do like, you know, a full version of that. Yeah, I haven't ever heard of Vintage Story. Let me just like check. Vintage Story. Oh, survival game. It's a sandbox survival game developed and published by Anego Studios. The founders of Anego Studios, Tyrone and Irina Madlener, okay, become developers of a standalone version of an early mode of Minecraft called Vintage Craft. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it's not on Steam. I mean, I'm just like seeing it online. I mean, fair enough. Like again, like mods are a good way to get your ideas out there without having to go through all the stages of development. Like you're basically getting the foundations kind of like pre-built for you, and you also potentially get like a ready-made audience, because, you know, modding scenes in games that are capable of supporting these large-scale releases usually have a big audience of people that would want to play mods to begin with, like Minecraft, or, you know, Half-Life had a lot of mods back in the day, which like basically again the Quake 2 engine modified. And the reason they, like Half-Life for example, had like a lot of mods was because it came bundled with like the Hammercraft engine. If anyone remembers that, yeah, like the Valve dev tools basically for level design were called Hammer or Hammercraft. I don't remember which of the two it was, and it was like a very accessible level creator basically. It wasn't exactly like the what you see is what you get type of editor, which like just drag and drop stuff, and, you know, the game kind of sorts of everything for you, but it was very intuitive in that you could actually get to draw polygons on screen, like get to do like rudimentary shapes, and then have more specialized tools to kind of like skew and transform and stretch those polygons into whatever shape you wanted, and then kind of like coat them over with extra texture work. Half-Life mod, too late for horror month. I have played Cry of Fear. I've only played a little bit of it, but I've seen, you know, you've probably seen him around a few times in the last few months. Gold Gibbon, a fellow Mellow fellow, has streamed most of it, if not the entirety of it. I haven't watched all of it, and yeah, it's kind of like impressive because that one was also a mod, and it kind of like spun out into like its own full release. I want to say it took something like a decade to come out, which is impressive as far as what's it called, tenacity goes. But then again, there's like this RPG a few years ago that had like a decade-long development cycle by just like one person, and eventually made its way to Steam. I don't remember what it's called. There's always next year. I mean, it doesn't have to be October to like stream that. It's just that I'm like doing the challenge now, and especially this month I'm not gonna be able to do a lot of streams because the last week of November I'm gonna be out of the country with the missus for some much needed holidays. We're actually gonna visit a friend who had a baby, and we're gonna go see the baby, and on that subject, the missus now wants baby too. Which is kind of hilarious. I have Sweden on my list. Did I? I don't remember. Did we do Sweden? Let me check. Or was it like Finland? I think I had like Sweden, Finland, and like Norway all like kind of like grouped together. And I said, you know, I need to just like do one of them because they're all kind of like very close to one another, and I didn't want to just like focus on. Yeah, I had Finland, exactly. Yeah, it's like France, Finland, Poland, Slovakia, Australia, Canada, Belgium, Germany, Spain, the whole October thing. Where like I literally haven't played one game that month that I liked, and now it's the South African games. So we've got like Greek games for like December probably. I'm still working on finding the last game because it's kind of hard to find, but yeah, I'm actually very curious to see how the Greek development community has evolved over the last 10 years, because growing up the game output was interesting but not very good to be honest. Remind me, and also ask Ghost Rider if he comes over at some point to share a few Greek games with you, because he's like a bit older than me. He will remember which ones I mean. Yeah, Cryfielders are from Sweden. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, again, like if it's something you guys want to see, I'm probably could consider it for next year, or you know, in between, if I'm done with the challenge games again, like I was with Outer Wilds. Don't know if it's any good. Actually, yeah, I've seen Gold Gib on stream that it seemed interesting. I don't know, it just seems to me that it does the one thing that annoys me a lot in horror games, which is excessive jump scares, and it also falls into the trap of becoming more of a shooter game by the end of it, rather than, you know, horror. It's also something that the Resident Evil games, for example, can't seem to get right. They will give you like this, like especially like 7 and 8, they give you these like very horrific situations, and as the game progresses, because apparently in their mind they can't actually give you empowerment any other way, they just give you more guns and put in more enemies to kind of like amp up the difficulty and the scale and the scope of it. But that kind of turns it less into a horror game and more into kind of like a horror themed shooter. Like especially the last half hour of RE7 for me is like the worst offender of this, because you are literally finding yourself at the very end, no spoilers, this is just like a sequence, escaping like a cave that's kind of imploding in on itself while fighting off hordes of those like weird goo monsters from the start of the game. Just like pew, pew, shooting them like all the way through. Which is kind of dumb, because the first 3/4 of the game were really good in making you feel tense. Like there's like a lot of great work done with perspective, shadows, the whole idea of like Papa, whatever his name is, kind of sort of, but not really, kind of like stalking you throughout the first like few levels. It's annoying that there seem to be no horror game in recent memory that I can think of where it doesn't fall into the trap of trying to be an action game at the end of it. It's annoying, to say the least. But yeah, Counter-Strike, I mean, that kind of like started it, but unfortunately I can't really say much about it. I haven't played a lot of Counter-Strike, and what little I have tried to get into were with bots. It's one of those games where the community is like ultra toxic, unfortunately. And yeah, there's like nothing to be said about Counter-Strike. It's like emblematic at this point. It's iconic, and not in the dumb Ubisoft way. It's like properly iconic. It's just not something that I actually could get into. Even like watching, I can't enjoy watching it because I don't know much about it, and I can't learn much about it because it does not interest me as a game. I don't know if that makes sense. I did try at points to kind of like look at, you know, the ESL tournament thing that they do every now and then. I did try and, you know, just like get YouTube commentary videos to try and like get into it, but I just can't get into it for some reason. It's like it's the same thing with Lord of the Rings, goddammit, with League of Legends. They're like megalithic games at this point. They're like titans of the industry, more or less. And I just can't get them. I get why people like them, but I just, like, on a personal level, I cannot get Counter-Strike or League of Legends or Dota or like any other esport game, Overwatch, or God, what else is there? I don't know at this point. Apex? Probably. PUBG. I really can't get those games. I get why people enjoy them. It's just like, for me, it's just like, there's like that meme where it's like everyone's kind of like all kind of like happy and like excited, and I'm like the apathy bit. That's kind of how I feel about these games, to be honest. Yeah, and apparently, yeah, the fan base, like I said, very toxic and also very vocal. So, you know, generally people don't, like, the developers try to not rock the boat too much. Feel the need to object. Gee, I wonder why. I should have like an objection as sound effect for the stream at some point. But anyway, let's move on to another mod. 17 years ago, I think actually it's a mod, I'm not exactly sure. 17 years ago, November 8th, 2005, we had the release of Gun on the PS2. Just Gun. So, I haven't played this. I remember the box art is like a skull with like a revolver over it, and there's like yellow tinge all over. I think this was supposed to be like a Quake mod at some point that was also released as a game of its own, I guess. I'm not actually sure. I'm actually trying to Google it, and unfortunately, Gun game, it comes up with like a million different FPSs. Yeah, okay, I found it. Gun video game. Let's see. A Western-themed action-adventure game developed by Neversoft and published by Activision for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 2, Xbox, GameCube, and Xbox 360 in 2005. PSP version was released a year later under the title Gun Showdown. Okay. Apparently people liked it. It's like a gunfight game. I did not think about SEO. I don't think anyone thought about SEO back in like 2005. Like, what was there about like search engine optimization? It was like Yahoo and like Alta Vista. Was like Google even a thing back in 2005? It probably was, but not to the extent that it is now. But yeah, I guess it's like kind of like a Western themed FPS. I've never played it. I have nothing to say about this, to be honest. It's actually like we are already at the midway of the list, which is amazing. There's like only 10 games that came out in November 8th over the years, and one of them is like 4 different releases of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, which is the next game. 11 years ago, November 8th, 2011. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 came out on PC, PS3, PC, PS3, Xbox 360, and Wii. Wait, the Wii had a Modern Warfare game? Oh, what did that version look like? I'm actually curious to see now. Oh yeah, it does not look good. Like you can see it from the. Oh, you can see it from the thumbnail. It does not look good on the Wii. And it's like no wonder, like God. I'm not gonna watch it, but I'm gonna link it in chat so you can just like admire the differences from like the, you know, the big boy releases. Let's see. We also on the same day, something I can finally speak about. Metal Gear Solid HD Collection came out on PS3 and Xbox 360 11 years ago, November 8th, 2011. Wow. What a disappointment that was. So the HD Collection is actually not a full collection at all. You bought that when it came out. Yeah, it's not. This is not the legacy collection. So it's like the fun thing. There's actually been like 2 or 3 different collections of MGS, and not all of them have the entire series in them. I think the PS3 Legacy Collection has every game, because you basically in HD Collection you get 2, 3, and like an upscaled version of Peace Walker. Yeah, exactly. It's 2, 3, and Peace Walker. And then there was like the Legacy Collection, which had like 4, and also you get like a code for the first. Yeah, thank you for the, what Jungle Robot said. You get like the first one on PSN, and you get like 4 like added on, and you also get like you also get like the first 2 Metal Gear games, the NES, like not the NES, the MSX ones as like bonuses in there somewhere, I think. I actually have the Legacy Collection on PS3 myself, so that's like the good version. But yeah, I hate how this collection worked, which is not like really included with 3. Yeah, it's like some like arcade. I haven't played them. Like I said, I've only ever played and I've streamed MGS 1 and 2, and I'm actually planning on going back to the rest of them because I still want to see how much time the entire like cutscenes thing takes. Yeah, MGS 1 is like basically a remake of MG2, like the Zanzibar, was it the fortress? God, I forget. I remember. I've not played the MSX ones. I've played a bit of the MSX ones, like emulated, but I haven't actually played the first like Metal Gear games to any appreciable amount of time. But I remember reading the like the plot synopsis, and yep, there's like MGS 1 is a remake. Yep, it's like plot for plot point, but just like some names changed and some extras added in to really hammer home the oh my god, nukes and globalization and Metal Gear and all of that kind of thing. It's just like Kojima becoming Kojima. And by MGS4, I guess like everyone was just like wishing Kojima would stop being Kojima. I'm just being mean here. I mean, people just love MGS games. I really do enjoy them, the 2 that I've played. I still haven't gone to 3 and 4 yet, so you probably get to enjoy that next year as well. If was really good at wasting Konami's money, yeah, I know. I mean, Death Stranding seems to have done really well, and now, I mean, there's like talks of, I guess, like a sequel or something. So good on him, probably. But yeah, if you've been living under a rock and haven't heard of the Metal Gear series, I have like a thing for you. You should play those games. It's primarily stealth-oriented action for the most part. There are some quite ridiculous set pieces, like the elevator like shootout in MGS1, or the whole thing at the very end of MGS2, which to this day I still choose to kind of interpret as a fever dream of the writers. They probably had something very bad to eat the previous night. Yeah, there's certainly an experience. I wouldn't call it like a good experience necessarily, but it is something that you should try out, even if it turns out to be mostly annoyance. It's like the ideas alone are like well worth it. So after that, let's see. Well, after that there hasn't been a lot. There was like Animal Crossing New Leaf on the 3DS, but I don't really have much to say about that. There was also like Harvest Moon 3DS, like one of the not really good ones. No, I haven't played 3. Like I said, I've only played 1 and 2, and I've streamed them. And I have been holding off of MGS 3 and 4 for the last 3 years because I kind of want to stream them. They're like in that kind of like nebulous category in the back of my head, which is like the do not play this until you stream it category. Just, I feel there's like a few games that I certainly would get like a lot more amusement if I were to, share the initial shock with people on stream. I wouldn't say like the initial, enjoyment, because I don't think I'm gonna enjoy MGS4. From what I've heard of it, I'm probably gonna hate its guts But maybe it will be bad in like a kind of like riff tracks way, you know, just like watch a bad movie and kind of like riff on it. Who knows? We'll see. Maybe after December. Maybe next year we'll start on like the positive note by putting myself through MGS4. But yeah, other than like a couple of like very small and inconsequential releases, November 8th kind of caps off 3 years ago when, speaking of the MGS collection, Death Stranding came out 3 years ago on the PS4, November 8th, 2019. You know, the game that Kojima made after Konami, kind of like to show them up. Apparently, it was really well received. It also had like a lot of product placement for what I've seen. Death Stranding is another one in the category of have to stream this. I did actually already promise Leuktra that I would do that at some point after the challenge is done. So, you know, you've got a lot of fun ones to look forward to, a lot of fun reactions to look forward to as well. If nothing else, I feel like I'm expressive enough to put my disbelief like front and center. Death Stranding's gameplay was really fun for the first 15 hours. You know, I've heard of how that game goes. I have a sneaking suspicion that I'm not gonna finish it on stream, but I'm actually gonna finish it on the Steam Deck, because from what the main gameplay loop has been described to me, it sounds like one of those games that you can kind of like mess around for like an hour or so on like the Steam Deck and, you know, just like drop it afterwards and, you know, just like use it as filler for other things. I mean, I don't know if that's actually going to be the case, but from what I've seen, you know, the FedEx simulator kind of thing, or for us Europeans, the DHL simulator, would probably in some way work well on the Steam Deck. Who knows? I mean, I've played more tedious games, to be honest. You know, Yakuza 0, the the Mahjong simulator, which was fun up until that point. And now it's just like a freaking chore. And, you know, like eventually the... the grind that is gonna come in like Persona 5 at some point. So I haven't actually done what you do in Persona 5. I've mostly kind of like taken things at my own pace. I've kind of like tried to rush the dungeons so that I can get to the good bits, which is like the confidence and the social stats and, you know, the general exploration and the little like day-to-day moments. For me, in a Persona game, those are the best bits. It's not the fusions, it's not the combat, it's not the dungeons. It's certainly not Mementos or Tartarus, like the Infinity Dungeons or whatever they're called. Though those are not, like, you know... I mean, I prefer the social bits in the Persona games. As someone that always gives a lot of emphasis on character development, I feel that like a game where you can actually focus on that is automatically like one step higher in like the enjoyment scale for me. I mean, yeah, I get that, like, you know, people tend to enjoy combat more, like the one more fusions and inheritance mechanics and like being able to break the combat in like very interesting ways is what they focus on. And to be fair, those are good bits as well, but I prefer the character interactions over those. I still enjoy the combat, don't get me wrong, but I tend to give emphasis on dialogue between characters. I mean, Persona characters are not like always the most well written, but they tend to be slightly better written than other JRPGs. And when the medium itself kind of focuses on that, it always produces like interesting results. Not necessarily good results, but interesting ones. Plus, it's also kind of feeding into my like perfectionist streak in a way that it's very satisfying for me to be able to min-max my free time in Persona games. Like for me, there's something very satisfying in figuring out how to do like the perfect week, where like I use all the time slots and I get like all the best like outcomes based on like what I'm aiming for, and you know, not having wasted interactions or like evenings off, or not having missed any of like the time specific events. Ad check 7 minutes. I'm keeping an eye out. No worries. Thank you, though. But yeah, it's basically that. I enjoy the min-maxing aspect outside of combat, because truth be told, there's not a lot of games where you can actually emphasize on min-maxing your social life as a character over your combat. Like, sure, there's like a million RPGs where you could make the perfect killing machine by, you know, rerolling your characters in Baldur's Gate, for example, until you get like 1800 strength and like everything else is a dump stat. So you make like a walking tank, and then you splash into mage to get like a couple of wands under your belt to, you know, magic enemies down that are resistant to... I'm not that stupid. I mean, come on, you get what I mean though, right? Like, there's a lot of games where you can min-max your character's combat performance, right? But there's not a lot of games where you can min-max their social stats. Actually, I think the only other game I can think of is probably Planescape Torment. And that's still kind of like the second edition Dungeons and Dragons min-maxing thing, except that the game has so many extras you can do to gain stats that you are absolutely min-maxing by choosing the order in which you're doing everything in the game. Only spent 6 hours running stats. Yeah, I know. I mean, I wasn't calling you out specifically because I've done that as well. Not 6 hours, but I've spent hours over, you know, reroll. Oh, this one's kind of good story. Reroll until you get like the perfect stats. Just calling yourself out. Yeah, no worries. I mean, you shouldn't. It's a perfectly valid way of enjoying a game. My point is, there's not a whole bunch of games where you can do that on non-combat aspects. And the Persona games are absolutely games where you do need to min-max your social time if you want to be, you know, as successful as possible in the game. Again, Planescape Torment is probably the only other example I can think of. Deus Ex, the original, might also have that because there is certainly a lot of optional XP and optional skill points you can get. So that's a bit more like knowledge of the levels and stuff, but at the end of the day, you are min-maxing the exploration aspect in order to get like all the rewards. Because like Deus Ex is kind of built in such a way which is kind of like more freeform, and there's a lot of different ways to explore, a lot of different places to find, a lot of different interactions based on what your skills are and how you've built your character. So you can absolutely also min-max a character so that they have access to, if not all of the options, as many of the options as possible. Hey, congratulations. Hope it's a healthy calf, I guess. Anyway, on that God, that's like the worst segue ever. On that aspect though, and since the Persona 2 song is kind of like coming to an end, let's run the ad while I get set up with Stasis. First of all, let me change the title. Secondly, let me run the ads, and I'm very, very sorry about this. And when we're back, I don't know if you get like picture-in-picture, you're still probably going to be able to see me. If not, when we're back, we're going to get into Stasis. Yay. So here we go. And for those of you that are still around, you are either lucky enough to not have had ads running because of like geographic restrictions, or you are subscribed here, which I guess, well, it's your money. I'm not going to tell you what to do with it. Thank you. But I certainly wouldn't want you to do it because of the ads. It's like a necessary good, and I don't feel like Amazon should be rewarded for it. Anyway, let's see. We updated the status. We go to the live thing. Hey, the ads are done. And we are doing Stasis today. Stasis, a game by the Brotherhood. Also, time stuck. Yeah, this shouldn't be appearing today, because this is like an adventure game. Don't tell me how to be. Yeah, I'm not preaching fiscal responsibility. Said Gray of 1,800 games and counting. I'm probably the last person you'd want to take advice on, you know, fiscal responsibility, if I'm being honest. But yeah, Stasis. For reference, we are still on the ATW challenge around the world for South Africa this month, with 5 games developed in South Africa. This is 2 out of 5. 800 is impressive. No. 1,800. You are a bit off there. There's like 1,800 on Steam, by the way. Let me see. Do I have overlay? No, I don't have overlay. So let me try that a different way by adding the window capture. Steam. Yay, there's the little boy. See what it says here? So let me just like zoom and enhance. Yeah, there we go. 1808. And actually I think that number's a bit off, because it doesn't count games that are not verified on the storefront. So indie games that haven't been sufficiently bought and played are not counted on that. It also doesn't count correctly free-to-play games as far as I remember. So there's like that as well. Let me see. Just barely got more than 200 on Steam. Yeah, that's because you're like more responsible with your money than I am. And I will also probably hazard a guess. Before meeting the misses, I literally only spent money on games and nothing else. Primarily bundles. But then at the time I was living with my parents, so you know, not a lot of expenses otherwise. No food. I mean, again, I was living with my parents. So yes, food, but you know, there's that. There's like a lot. Yeah, it also doesn't count the free-to-play games. So there's, you know, keep that in consideration. Don't check the calculator. I mean, there was like another calculator a few years ago. I mean, might as well. I've played 1,000 out of the 1,869 games that I have on my... Oh. Actually, I want to share this. It's like extremely non-indicative, but I do want to share like what Django Roba put up. Let's see, Chrome. There we go. I mean, you're supposed to type your user, I guess. Let me just like trim this a bit so it doesn't take that much space. But yeah, there we go. I will say I will tell you up front, the 5,292 amount is low. Is like very is high. It should be lower, because a lot of my what's it called? A lot of the account value here, like a lot of the games that I have come from bundles. So this is definitely on the high end of the... I guess this calculates them based on like aggregate like values. Because I don't think I've ever bought more than like maybe 20 or 30 games in the last 15 years that have been like full price ever. I love that like today's price is like 22,000. Like I could just like sell my account and like make a down payment on a house or something. This is probably the number that kind of like gets me the most. It's like 845 never played games. I hate this. I hate this so much. It's like the reason why I stopped buying games, because this needs to kind of like go away at some point. Haven't played on Linux. Otherwise, I always played on your Linux on your playtime on Steam Deck. Oh, that's a lot. Wait, when did I get the Steam Deck? It was like in April, right? Hold on. Steam Deck was in April. Can you just like, you can't see this? Okay, so 393 divided by 7 months. That's an average of 56 hours per month. So by 30, that's an average of like an hour 50 minutes per day. How did you get 59 unplayed games? I don't know. I mean, free-to-play games are also counted probably. Promotions, bundle tie-ins, utility programs, DLCs maybe. I don't know exactly how it calculates all those, so I couldn't really be able to tell you. I assume that because it takes like the value, it's counting the actual games wrong. I think it's actually counting your like your IDs, like your library IDs, which I think also counts utilities that you own, and also in some cases it counts like beta versions separately. Like I know there's like a fighting game called Skullgirls. It actually counts the game twice, because when you buy the game, you also gain access to the Endless Beta branch, which is its own library entry. Team Fortress 2 has the same thing. There's like the mainline Team Fortress 2 game, and there's also like a beta or like a test server version as well. There's like 1 or 2 MMOs that have like a test branch as a separate entry in your Steam library. So those are probably counted twice as well. And if you've never launched them, it counts them as unplayed. I wouldn't be able to tell you specifically, but I mean, that's probably why. Plus, you know, like if you've added free games that, like for example, there was like a free weekend in Vermintide, for example, and if you've like added that but haven't played, that's like +1 on the unplayed games, etc., etc. Only 7% of total play time on Steam has been on Windows. I mean, I'm kind of worried like by like the end of next year, like 80% of my playtime is going to be on the Steam Deck. Because here's the funny thing: I stopped buying games, but at the same time, I've stopped playing games as much. Outside of streaming, I'm not playing games as often. It's a combination of IRL responsibilities, work fatigue, a few other family related things that I'd rather not discuss on stream. Good family things anyway, not nothing bad, but it's just, you know, private stuff. But you know, between work, family, and you know the general attempt to kind of actually start having a life outside of the monitors, I don't think I'm playing as much on the PC at least, or on any of the consoles, as I was like a few years ago. Yeah, if I'm being honest, I've played on the PC primarily for streams. So that's like Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday, and Thursday for the last month or so. And then on the weekends, I'm kind of just like chilling on the Steam Deck, to be honest. Which I mean is nice. That's like exactly what I wanted it for, to be honest. So I wouldn't be stuck in front of a PC all day. You know, I'd be stuck in the couch instead. But you get what I mean. It's easier to, you know, be around the house and, you know, pretend to be a functional adult if I am not shackled onto like an office chair all the way. Anyway, with that being said, the backlog attempts continue. Stasis. Where were we? South African games, yes. So after Desktop Dungeons last week, we come to the Brotherhood, which is it was like a Johannesburg-based studio. They've not done a lot of games so far. They've done Stasis, which is this. Apparently a kind of, from the screenshot at least, it reminds me a lot of Sanitarium, which is another amazing point-and-click game that I would definitely recommend. If you want to try something similar to Stasis, and I would recommend it. The same studio that made Stasis has also done a free-to-play prequel called Kane. Let me dig it up on Steam and link it to you. It takes about an hour to get through. If you liked what you see here, I would highly recommend trying Kane. It's a sort of prequel. I played a couple of years ago, so I don't actually remember in which ways it's supposed to be a prequel. But it's done in the same engine, it's done in the same style. It even reuses a few of the assets of this game, apparently. And it's free. So if you've got an hour of your life to spend trying new things out, this would be a very good one. Anyway, Kane and eventually Stasis, an isometric point-and-click adventure game by the looks of it. I've heard very little about this. I've had a lot of people tell me it's like really good, especially very atmospheric as far as like these games go. From the screenshots, it reminded me a lot of Sanitarium. It gave me a few, well, anything between Baldur's Gate, Fallout, and Icewind Dale vibes, but like in the more like horror techno-punk aesthetic, I guess. So yeah, without further ado, let's get it started. It's actually usually like on sale, so if you like what you're seeing here, you could just like go buy it for like €5 or something. Without a family, man, alone in the world, trembles with the cold. Okay. Yet another Baldur's Gate-esque thing where it's like when the abyss gazes at you kind of thing. Yeah. Made by the South African-based studio, The Brotherhood, which I've had considerable trouble. Yeah, that's Nietzsche. I've had considerable trouble finding where they're based, because like even on their website, they just say like South Africa. They don't mention where exactly. It's not on Gamma Sutra. It's not on the game database. It's not on the IGDB. I ended up finding out where they're from exactly, like because I put on the spreadsheet, right? I ended up finding that out from an interview they did for like a local Johannesburg-based magazine, which was saying kind of like, oh, local Johannesburg game studio releases hit game Stasis on Steam, blah, blah, blah. And they had like an interview with them. So I'm like, yes, I found it. But it took me like half an hour. And this is like one of the cases of why I wanted to do this challenge to begin with. It's because I feel like a lot of studios, specifically indie games, are very, very bad with promoting themselves and like making themselves discoverable. It's like any other business venture would. Yeah, that's like also the other important thing about this. We'll come back to this later. Mark Morgan did the soundtrack for this. But like one of like the important things for like any industry is to just like get yourself out there and give people as much info as possible on what it is you do and where you're doing it from, because you know that can lead to funds, that can lead to grants, that can lead to sponsorships, etc., etc. But yeah, this primarily I want to do the challenge because of this, and thankfully I found out that these guys are from South Africa, because that was Stasis was literally the last game I figured out I could add. I needed 5 games and I knew of 4. There was Desktop Dungeons, Broforce, Semblance. Holy shit, I don't remember what the other one was. Anyway, there's like 4, and then I was missing like that last one, and I found out that Stasis was also a that thing, a South African game. So yeah, game says desktop dungeon. What the fuck? Why? Ooh. Yeah, it shouldn't say desktop dungeon. Thank you for spotting that. I need to update. Oh no. Wait, can't tab out yet. I'll just like give it a moment for the game to get going, and then I'll
Welcome to the Game Corporation Stasis Plug Suit.
Oh no.
Please hold still while your biometric scans are complete.
Also, my webcam is in the wrong place. I didn't realize it would have dialogue like this. Shit.
Multiple fractures.
Okay, we just like wait.
5, 11, and 14. Extreme muscle atrophy. Danger of heart failure. Danger of pneumothorax. Seek immediate medical attention.
You're about to die.
Medical data storage is damaged. Formatting quantum storage device. Plug suit quantum storage device is ready for physical record storage.
Like the AI helper sounds evil. Okay, let me pause. Let me fix the camera first of all. Just like bring it down here. Hopefully I'm not obscuring anything on this corner. And let me also fix the stream category, because it should have said Stasis. I don't know how I missed it, because I'm kind of like doing it from like the Stream Deck nowadays. So it should theoretically pick up the correct one. I don't know, like if you refresh the, let me check. If we kind of like refresh the stream page now, will it have picked up the correct one? Hopefully. Thank you for noticing, Mana. Always got my back. Oh. It still says the desktop dungeons on my... What the fuck? Yeah, the little stream preview on the Twitch client, the desktop mobile client says desktop dungeons. God damn it. Oh, it's all good? Okay, that's nice. So let me go back to the game, and hopefully now I'm not obscuring anything. So yeah. It was quite the... What's this? Okay. It was quite the annoyance having to like figure out where these guys are from. It's like one problem that I had with like even including this game on the November list. And as you may have noticed by the intro titles, this game was like the music for this game was composed by Mark Morgan. And if that game sounds familiar, you might remember me going on and on and on and on about how much I like the soundtrack to Planescape Torment. Mark Morgan did that soundtrack. He also did the Fallout soundtracks. I don't remember if he did the Baldur's Gate one. Actually, let me just like check that. Because I'm pretty sure he did a lot of Black Isle soundtracks. So, it's like I've got his Wikipedia page up. So, if you've played any of these games, you've heard his work. Zork Nemesis, Darkseid 2, Descent 2, Zorkran Inquisitor, Fallout, Fallout 2, Planescape Torment, Civilization Call to Power, Giant Citizen Kabuto, Wasteland 2, Prey 2, which was cancelled, Stasis. He did the music for Torment Tides of Numenera. He did the music for Bard's Tale 4, which we streamed a few years ago. And he also did the music for Wasteland 3. So basically, he's like the de facto composer for like anything done by Interplay, Black Isle Studios, basically, which was an Interplay subsidiary, and eventually In Exile Studios, I guess. So you'll see why I'm like very, very interested in like listening to how this game sounds, because anything else like irrelevant. The soundtracks for those games, especially Fallout 2 and Planescape Torment, are some of my most memorable ones of all time. I mean, it doesn't quite get up to the level of like the Medsci level from like System Shock 2. It doesn't quite get up to the level of like Frog's theme from Chrono Trigger. It doesn't get up to the level of what was else? Like the zoo level from Terranigma. But they're like very iconic themes as well. Like especially Planescape Torment. They've got like this whole, like Mark Morgan did this whole thing where every single character theme, there's like 7 or 8 of them, for like one for each party member you can recruit. They all are based on the same lead motif, which is kind of based on the protagonist's one, but with like different variations. So subconsciously you kind of like associate all the characters as having something to do with the protagonist, which ends up being the case. So that was like a very good case of like the soundtrack kind of like reinforcing the themes of the game. Anyway, let's go here. Like I see the perspective, and I immediately feel hit with like a wave of nostalgia. This is like very reminiscent of something I would expect to see in like Fallout, of like all things. Back in the day, in the kind of like late 90s to like mid 2000s, like mid early 2000s, this isometric kind of like pre-rendered backgrounds perspective was like a very popular one, because it let you use a lot more high resolution still images without, you know, burning your processor or your graphics card trying to render them in real time. So basically all you had to render was kind of like overlaid effects. Like, actually I think in this case like the whole thing might be 3D. I'm not exactly sure.
This isn't my ship.
Oh my god, not my ship, Metal Gear. Cryotube. So yeah, like the whole isometric thing was kind of go-to for low investment, high return visuals. Because like, sure, it locks you on one specific perspective, and everything you design has to be built around that one perspective. And for isometric, like 3/4 isometric design like this, you also have the issue that the walls that are closest to the camera usually would also obscure things. Like if you've seen Fallout 1 and 2 or Baldur's Gate or Planescape Torment, you know of like the camera angle I'm talking of. And if you've played those games, you've hit a point where your characters or the action is obscured by the geometry or the level design. Especially if there's houses, there's walls, there's buildings and like rigid structures, and your characters are behind them. And usually how they solve this, they add like a mask, like another layer over your character, which has like a higher render priority once they're obscured. So it kind of like shows us an outline. Or in the more fancy cases, as for example, Arcanum of Steamworks and Magic Obscura did this. The other game that Troika Studios did before they kind of like went under with Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. So in that case, what they did, they kind of had like a bit of like a halo effect, where anything in that radius around each character would just not render. So it would kind of like become transparent, so you could see the character through it. Which I don't think it's like necessarily like the best option. But at the end of the day, it did work, and it was like different to just having outlines of your characters and not really seeing your characters every time they were behind the wall that was between them and the camera. So let's see. In this case, what do we do here? Apparently, we're about to die of like multiple things. Steam! Hey! That's where I bought the game. The humid steam gives off a sickly sweet smell as it rises from the glass tube. I mean, it would be nice to at least get like a tutorial on like what the controls are. Left click, right click, do those do anything? Terminal appears to be offline. John! Wait, my name is John? What's my surname? It's like John Everyman. It's like the most generic name ever. Cryotube. A horrifying face is pressed against the glass of this pod. Its skin pulled taut over its bones.
Oh God.
Okay.
Elevated moral activity can be detrimental to your current state of...
Oh my god, is there gonna be like a sanity meter? John Doe? Yeah, I didn't want to go that way. Hey, Ghost Rider. Hi, how's it going? How are we doing today? Did we manage to tear ourselves away from murdering people for long enough? How's the Hitman 3 closed test thing going? A smeared pool of some dark, sticky, congealed substance. I think that's blood. That's like clearly blood. Oh, it ended on Monday. So what are we playing nowadays? Okay, so if I examine this, the guy tells me to stay calm. This terminal appears to be offline. Contorted body inside this pod is suspended in a thin amber fluid that distorts its features. Oh, wait, this one's working. Subject, Jackson P. Batch number 165A7. Status cryotube malfunction. Please see maintenance. Wait, is this gonna be like the whole Interstellar thing where like they died in their pods or something? But the unliving. Oh, yeah, I saw you bought that. It came up on my activity list. It needs a patch. That what's that game like? I'm curious. I just saw the name and I was like, I don't think I've heard of this. Subject, Marachek J. Batch number 165A8. Status cryostasis interrupted. Wait, is that me? Is my surname Marachek? Am I just like Polish or something? Kind of reminds you of Overlord. Ooh, that's like a good game to be reminded of, to be honest. Inside the glass tube, a corpse hangs like a grotesque puppet. Tangled in the pipes and wires that had once provided life, it is now no more than a lifeless husk. Subject, Anderson S. My heart? Wait, what?
My heart.
I'm having a heart attack? No.
Please seek immediate medical attention.
Where? Where am I seeking medical attention in here? Let's see. Anderson S. Batch number 165A4. Status, cryotube malfunction. Please see maintenance. Oh, when you get minions in there, your main force in combat. That sounds kind of neat, to be honest. Oh, wait. The door is now blue. Okay. Operator's chair. The well-worn leather of the chair is cracked, showing its age. The only sound in the room is the hiss of static from the monitors. Their flickering light illuminates the leather chair. The cracks in its surface evident even between the shroud of dust that covers it. Okay, we are not allowed to interact with anything. So I guess the door is the way out. Whoa. I like the effects. Also, yeah, like the backgrounds are definitely pre-rendered and they're just adding the like all the animations on top of that.
Automated medical care systems are non-functional. Please seek medical attention.
Jesus. The robot sounds evil. The robot, like the AI or whatever it is voice that's talking to me sounds awful. Alarm light. Wait, what? What's that sound effect? The shadows form a slowly spinning fan move lazily across the floor grate. Great. Alarm lights. The alarm lights pulse in warning. Oh, there's like a transition here, I guess. Okay, cool. Let's do that.
Hello.
I'm dying. I'm in a horror movie and I'm dying. Oh no. Product storage. Wait, why was I in product storage? Was supposed to like be eaten or something? Are people like this future's version of like chips or something? Okay, this is the inventory probably. Bloodstain. Dried blood trails downwards from the countertop. The chairs sit vacant. The leather split with wear along the seams and rounded edges. Corroded padding protrudes from the tears in the fabric. I like the writing so far. Like it's descriptive in that, again, Fallout-ish way, where you get like all the info and like some like small flourishes, but you're not actually being, force-fed like paragraph after paragraph after paragraph of like flowery prose with like no good reason. Like it's something that game writers don't really get most of the time in these games. You need to be descriptive, yes. You need to be a bit extra about it, so it doesn't read as like too dry. Like in games nowadays, those games that still have text in them, of course, there's like two different approaches. Like let's take this chair for example. You get like the very kind of like abrupt, the very like clinical, sterile descriptions in some games, which would say like adventure games mostly, like especially the ones that are like translated, usually go for something like, oh, this is a leather chair. It seems worn with age. The end. Okay, it's functional, but it doesn't really sell the atmosphere of the whole thing. Or the games would go in the exact opposite direction and would start going, oh, this chair seems to be made from cow leather that has been raised by, you know, moisture farmers in Tatooine or something. You can see like the color degrading across its axis and blah 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 blah, and you get like 5 paragraphs of how worn the leather is, which okay makes it sound a bit more in character with the universe, but at the end of the day, it's too much, especially if you're expected to examine 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 things per screen. So you need to strike a good balance between being descriptive to the point that the player gets what you're trying to sell them and gets what you're trying to hint at for those parts of the screen that are either plot or puzzle relevant. You need to have a certain embellishment built into it, but you also need to self-edit and not let yourself kind of like get away with it, because it's easy to write 10 paragraphs about how nicely rendered this chair is, right? It's also easy to just write one sentence on what the chair does, but true mastery is kind of like merging the two and making 3 lines that feel that when read make the player feel that he's been given the 5 paragraphs without actually having to read the 5 paragraphs. Do you know what I mean? It needs brevity. It needs brevity, but not stinginess, basically. You need to be a bit more extra than simple, like short utilitarian descriptions, but you need to stop yourself from being too extra and make the player read half a book worth of description per item. Expected Star Wars reference. I mean, it's kind of like a sci-fi thing. Star Wars, for good or for worse, is like the first thing that people think of when they think of sci-fi. Oop. It's like also like limited animations. That's nice. That's like really nice. Like so far, I'm really liking what I'm seeing here. There's like a very retro-ish aesthetic, but kind of spruced up a bit. Let's see. Chair seat vacant. Okay, that's like the same description. Holographic projector. The words Holotron projector are embossed in metal on this piece of machinery, but the screen is smashed and it looks beyond repair. Okay. Oh, there's like the check-in terminal I guess we can interact with. I'm gonna leave it for last. Powered down robotic arm. A useless robotic arm sits clamped to the desk. Dried blood streaks to the floor in a wide swath, as if someone had been dragged or slowly crawled away. It's hard to tell whether it came from or went towards the infirmary door. Oh, the infirmary door, okay. See where this is really good writing? It says infirmary here, but in case I didn't notice that, it's also in the description. So now I have like direction. I know that like this is the door I need to head for. And this being a game, I probably also assume this is the door that something's going to happen while I'm going there. Also, hey Rooks, how's it going? How are we doing today? You and... it's like an Ultros emote. That's like Ultros from like Final Fantasy 6, I want to say. Tentacles! A bank of static field monitors line the walls. The displays all emitting the same dim, distorted image. I'm actually going to use this first. S6, okay. I may have not played it, but I am informed about it at least.
The computers work.
Yes, the computers work. Guess I can download porn now. Product storage. Checklist. Subject, Anderson S, batch number 16544. Let's see. Subject, Jackson P, batch number 165A7. Subject, Marachek J. That's us. J is like the only John. Blood type O, sex male, age 38. Stasis pod acquired. Personal transport ship intercepted en route to Titan Station and Spenza. One of 3 stasis pods. Wait. Mining transport orbiting Titan, part of a long-term terraforming operation. Reserved for Project Kitchen Knife. Huh? What's Project Kitchen Knife? That doesn't sound good. Blood type AB. Stasis pod acquired. Escape pod went down transport between Earth and Mars. One of 4 stasis pods. Okay. Wait, am I on a pirate ship? Returning luxury transport. All hands lost. One of 12 stasis pods. Am I on like an illegal like experiment ship? In addition to Dr. Essex, we're happy to welcome Sarah Salvador, the new head nurse of product storage. It was a sad day when Nurse Daniels left us for greener pastures, and she will be missed. As our cloning facility has been deemed too costly, we're happy to note that product storage has now been upgraded to a level 6 facility. Woohoo! We are now the #1 supplier of human specimens to the entire facility. After the unfortunate incident in product storage 2, we will be undergoing regular updates and maintenance. Okay. Starting with the new lockdown and security systems. Thank you for your hard work and dedication. Okay. How are we doing, by the way, Rooks? How's it going? And, I mean, Ghost Rider already asked, but just to make sure. I'm very easily distracted these days. Sorry. Let's see. 2 weeks ago, a full security lockdown occurred in product storages 2 and 3. Kane Corporation has terminated operations on both floors until a cleanup crew can evaluate the situation. We regret to report that 17 crew deaths and expiration of 12 unopened products occurred due to the emergency vending procedures. Wait, are we clones? We're clones. We're probably clones. That's like what the products are. They're like cloned humans. Probably. Anyway, let's go heal or something. Maybe we walk faster when we fix ourselves. Okay, it's kind of weird though. Oh, the pathfinding is not good on this. Pathfinding is awful. Also, it's like a lot of triggers for events. I wonder what engine they used for this. Like, I don't think it's either like Unreal or like Unity. And like the biggest adventure game engine that people tend to use, Wintermute, is notoriously bad at doing isometric adventure games. Wintermute, by the way, is the engine that like another kind of like occasional raid target of mine, Matthias, the games that he tends to kind of like stream most often, the Cat Lady trilogy, are made in Wintermute if you want to check how that engine kind of looks at its best. A tangle of long discarded and moldering. Oh, that's like a while since I've seen that word. Moldering bed linen lies in this infant crib. Oof. Light passes through the bars, casting stark shadows on the walls beyond. Dark stains smear the bars, but it's otherwise empty. Several hastily discarded infirmary ward screens. A stripped-down hospital bed sits in the corner, its side rails bent outward and the head and foot sections broken as if by tremendous force. Oh, that sounds worrying. Tremendous force is not something you want to experience in like a horror. What the fuck? Was that like a shout? Yeah, that was like a death rattle. God damn it. Okay, I guess we need to fix the infirmary first. The ventilator sits motionless and unable to sustain life. An abandoned wheelchair with crumbling leather armrests. Okay. Mechanical ventilator stands motionless. An attached tracheotomy tube is encrusted with greenish-brown substance that dried up long ago. What? Tracheotomy. Tracheotomy is when they drill into your throat, basically. That's like, this is like where the trachea is, right? And like the... Ugh. Yeah, there was like several moans, but like this was like the loudest one. during my rant. Oh, come on. It wasn't a rant. I mean, just like, it's like design elements that I like talking about. I don't think it was a rant. Aw. If anything, I was praising the game for so far kind of striking a very good balance in that. Like, it's been a while since I've played a game where I'm actually interested in you know, examining everything more or less. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get bored of it eventually, but so far it's been fun. But yeah, tracheotomy. Ugh. I don't want to see if this is the machine we need to use. Oh, puzzle. Okay. Okay, this is like the classic, you know, get everything activated puzzle. Okay. Oh, okay, we need to turn them on in like a specific order, right? Like this. I guess it's like this one now. Nope. Or not? Okay. So we need to power it on with the fourth one, and then we choose. Emergency life support active. Okay. Yeah, you can't have them like all active. So what does like life support do? Okay, that's the beds here, I guess. Several pieces of surgical equipment have been left out on the side tray table. They are corroded and caked in blood. You'd rather listen to you? Oh, I get it. Wait, what? I'm confused. What do I get? I'm perpetually in like a state of semi confusion, to be honest. Mine got off track. Oh yeah, I get that a lot. Let's see. Organic waste bin. The pungent stench of decomposition wafts from the bin marked organic waste. There's like an examine action here, I think. I don't really know if I want to explore it. Yeah, I don't like the pathfinding though. It's weird, but I think that's probably a limitation of the engine. So here's like a fun little thing. How do isometric games deal with pathfinding? Because in like a fully 3D game, you have like a much larger like array of locations, and your character doesn't like occupy specific nodes in that location. I mean, at least not to like any measurable degree, right? In like a fully 3D engine, the character can occupy any part of the landscape that the developers allow you to be on. In isometric games, the way it usually works, and you won't actually see it in the game itself, but this is how it goes. It has, first of all, they put like each room or each location down, and then they go and mark the borders, which is like all the areas where it's valid for the character to be in. I think XSplit has like a way to do that on the stream, because I really want to show you like how it works, because I did try a lot of these engines when I was younger. I at one point had dreams of making my own game, like anyone my age growing up in games had. No, it's not presentation packager. There used to be like a way you can actually draw on the stream. I don't actually remember where that was though. Let's see. It's like a widget. Oh, whiteboard. There we go. Right click to view instructions. Wow. Okay. So basically, here's how it would work in like an adventure game engine. For example, like AGS, or to a lesser degree Wintermute, because like I said, Wintermute is really bad at making isometric adventure games, and this is one reason for that. So here's how it goes. They make a pre-rendered background, they plop it down in the engine, and then there's usually a tool where you can actually mark the edges, basically, which is like you can layer on a flat plane onto which the character is allowed to exist, or like any character. So they would come like something like this, right? They would like make a border around like all the edges. Oh, sorry, kind of like went away. They would kind of like make a border of like all the edges, something like this. And then all of that would kind of be, you know, marked around any like interactable object, something like this, for example. And that layer would have an option that, you know, the player can exist on. Then on top of that, they need separate layers for objects that can cover your character. Yes, that's the next bit. Next, they code in the obstructions, which is usually the walls and the objects that are facing the camera and that the character can exist behind. So in this case, this partition here would have an extra. I mean, I don't know if I can like change the color. Let's see. There we go. So it would have like an extra layer here where in the game's code would say the character can exist here, but anything behind the layer here is not to be rendered. So the character sprite would only be obscured by the section behind there. Or like the chair bit here, for example, would be one as well. If the character could go behind like the corner wall. If you've noticed in this game, they're like very good about always omitting the two walls that are closest to the player. The person playing the game, not the character. And then depending on the engine, like AGS does this, depending on the engine, they would also have to kind of like define the furthest away point and the closest away point. So they would kind of like add a north and a south to the scene. And the closest the character goes to the north of the screen, the smaller his sprite gets. And the closer the character comes to the south of the screen, which is like closest to the camera, the bigger the sprite gets. So it basically what's it called? Kind of like has scaling. Again, it depends on the engine. But from what I remember from AGS, it has like an auto scaling option where it goes from like 0.8 of the character sprite to 1.1 of the character sprite, depending on how close to the camera the character is coming. So they don't even want to print their images. Yeah, they just like the game knows to render the background over the character sprite because they're like all 2D images at the end of the day. Like the background, the character, the object, they're all actually 2D objects. And how the layer works, when you tell it that this little like green location is part of the foreground, it knows to give it rendering priority over the character. Now the more hobbyist engines, the less professional ones, they do still actually render the character, but they render it at a lower priority than the foreground. So the player can't see that part of the character. Which is how like a lot of like the more modern engines, when you start playing stuff like Torment or Wasteland 3, your character can actually I don't know if you can enter from the front. Like in that case, I think there would be, again, this is like still like strictly hobbyist in my case, but in that case it would probably be something like giving priorities. There would probably be like two zones. There would be like a zone in front of the curtain that has like priority 1. So if the character is standing on that, he gets priority. And there'll be a zone behind the partition would be like zone 2, which if the character is standing on that, the foreground gets priority over the character on like each rendering pass. Actually, I don't think you can stand here. And again, if you watch in this case, they've kind of like placed the camera high enough so that the two closest walls like rarely obscure the character. And you see like there is like some what's it called? There is some like obscuring going on here, but in this case, I think the curtain itself is not actually part of the pre-rendered background. It's like a 3D, or actually, I'm not sure. I think the character is like a 3D object. At least as far as I can tell, like by his shading, he seems to be like a 3D object. Or at least like a 3D model that has then been exported into 2D. But I think the character was at one point like modeled in 3D software like 3D Studio Max or Maya or whatever. Yeah, in this case, the curtain seems to be like an extra layer on top of the back. It's like a separate thing. Like I'm pretty sure, like if you go into the games files, the curtain is not there on the graphic of the area of like in the room graphic, in the pre-rendered room graphic. It's actually a thing you think about a lot when playing Final Fantasy. How much work must have been to map out these pre-rendered backgrounds, custom models to move in. Actually, in Final Fantasy VII, sorry, I'm just like going on a tangent here, but I love these kinds of things. In Final Fantasy VII, they do this cool thing where they layer 3D models on top of not just pre-rendered backgrounds, but also like fully animated FMVs. Yeah, especially, yeah, exactly that one. So there's like a very characteristic example on like the intro of Final Fantasy VII, where there's like the zoom out into Midgard, and then it kind of like zooms into Sector 1 as the train pulls into the station. And you'll notice in like the last 30 or 40 frames of that, the character models for Cloud, the two Shinra soldiers, and eventually like Biggs, Wedge, Barrett, and I don't remember who else is there, are kind of like tracked to the camera. So basically the way that works, they have a fully FMV version of Cloud using his in-game character model on the train, and when it kind of like swoops in, the train kind of like swoops into the station at the start, there's like this whole like smoke plume kind of going across, and at that point the very next frame does not have the pre-rendered Cloud on there, but it has the actual real-time rendered Cloud model in his place. And you can actually tell because it's not exactly a perfect match. They haven't exactly tracked the angle of like the camera shift correctly to the 3D model. So this is something that happens a lot in Final Fantasy VII. There's a lot of times where they try to have real-time rendered 3D models of the characters on top of full motion video, FMVs, basically. And because it's not exactly tracked correctly, you see like little jitters on the character models as they try to kind of like keep them in frame of like whatever movement the camera is doing. If you've played Final Fantasy VIII though, after that, you'll notice they became much better at tracking the models onto the FMVs, basically. Because in Final Fantasy VIII, they do that a lot as well. The biggest example, I think, is like at the end of disc 1, where like the two garden cities, I guess, kind of like clash against each other, the academies, and or like the bit at the start where they invade Dolet, basically, where like you get like a panning video, basically, of the little like ATV ships carrying the seed students, basically, to invade the Dolet city. It would come to like a fully 3D rendered, kind of like coming closer to the camera ship, and the moment it hits the shore, and like the little like hatches at the front open, it would have actual like real-time rendered character models coming out of there before it shifts completely to like a still pre-rendered image. And and then on the PS1 version, you can actually see the resolution drop a little bit. In like the remasters, it's like almost imperceptible. So found that in PSX version, combat runs at 50. Yeah, that's actually a thing that they did because of basically the processing limitations. Because particle effects, I think, in the PS1 version were a bit too intensive, and the PS1 chip wasn't really good at multiple like calculations at the same time. So they kind of like drop all the animations of the characters during combat at 15 FPS. In order to first of all have bigger character models, because if you've played Final Fantasy VII, you've seen that like the combat models are bigger and more detailed than the overworld models, which are kind of like more chibi, kind of like stylized versions of the characters. And I remember reading that the reason for doing that is because they wanted to preserve as many resources as possible in order to be able to use spell effects and particles and have bigger characters and character models acting out in combat, so they wouldn't just like have the little like 2D sprites that they had in previous games. And the menu is rendered on a separate. Basically, I'm like by far the least qualified person to be talking about this. But from what I've kind of like seen online, the strictly 2D graphics that the PS1 had were rendered separately from all the 3D stuff. So it basically had like one processor or like sub-processor or like a chipset that would handle all the 2D stuff, and then it would have like a totally different system to pipeline basically and render the 3D stuff, which is why they had like this discrepancy. The reason I know this is because I remember that I was seeing like a documentary of sorts on how they made Spyro the Dragon, and one of like the big what's it called? One of like the big things about Spyro the Dragon was how well for a PS1 hardware they had handled the draw distance and the render distance. And I remember that what they did, they kind of stole memory from the headers, which you're not supposed to do in programming because the headers are strictly there for all the overhead stuff, basically. And they also stole memory from the 2D chip to render 3D stuff with. So they basically kind of like jury-rigged a very brute force type solution to make something that the PS1 should not have been capable of doing at the time. Because remember, in the PS1 era, if you wanted to have like big levels, the PS1 couldn't render them. It was not equipped to handle far distances and short distances at the same time. So you get stuff like Silent Hill, where in order to be able to run at a playable speed, you would fill everything with fog so that the game wouldn't have to render that far away, even though the area itself was big. It wouldn't have to render all of it. But I remember in Spyro the Dragon they were saying that how they kind of like decompiled all of the system code for the PS1 without permission from Sony, by the way. And they started kind of like stealing memory from like various processes that they thought weren't as important while a game was kind of like running. And they were right, because Spyro the Dragon 1 was indeed like a technical accomplishment at the time. The amount of detail they could see up until like the backgrounds was amazing. And fun fact, it was also one of the first games where they had scaling, distance-based scaling. So basically, the farther away from the camera you were, because they did kind of like get all that extra memory from system processors, but at the end of the day, it still wasn't enough. So what they kind of did, they had like 3 or 4 different character models of differing polygon densities, and the farther away a character was from the camera, the lower the polygon count model it would use. And they made it in such a way that like you could kind of like seamlessly transition into the higher polygon models the more you were coming closer to the characters. That was like a very smart thing that they did. Remind me to find that video. It's like a 15-minute video. It's one of those like war diaries kind of things that God, was like Business Insider that did that, or like Polygon? I don't remember. But remind me, I am pretty sure I have that video somewhere. Remind me to link it on Discord later. And on that note, I've actually only been 3 rooms into the game in the past hour because of overanalyzing everything. We actually need to go run an ad. Sadly. So let's all meet in 30 seconds with hopefully more of the game and less of the overanalyzing. Also, up my qualifications. I'm gonna try eventually. It's something that's in my to-do. System processes. Actually, let me find you the. It didn't have much, but like they kind of like squeezed as much of anything that was available. Yeah, I know it's an ad. Okay, we're done. Yeah, I know. I like I said, I triggered the ad because of it was about time. There's like a making of somewhere, but I'll remind me to look for it later. It would be directly into the games or something. Yeah, but it's not actually that. Like there was like a lot of there's like a lot of overhead on like memory card management, and there's like this process that's like constantly polling the controllers to see if they're connected. There's a lot that's kind of tied into memory management. Anyway, there's like I don't think they ever go into what exactly they kind of ripped away from the system processes. But again, remind me to find the video and link it later. It's like a very interesting, like 10 to 15 minute watch. I promise it's not one of Raiken's like 10-hour long podcasts. Okay, so there's like nothing to interact with here. So I assume I either need the scanner to scan myself or like the surgeon to fix myself eventually. Kind of bummed out. Yeah, I mean, the demakes are never actual project, but it was like an interesting one. I think it's like the entirety of like the first level up until what's his name, Gascoigne, I think. Like, if I'm being honest, I'm not even sure if it is like playable or anything, but okay, let's like scan ourselves first. I did see it like back in the day when it kind of like came up. I mean, there's been like a lot of like demake projects, to be honest. Like at some point they even had like demakes that were what's it called? Official studios like Bayonetta for the PC release actually had like an 8-bit demake platform thing, which was available on Steam for like 6 months before they removed it for whatever reason. I mean, I still have it in my library because I had downloaded and played it back then, but it's no longer available. I think it's called like 8-bit Bayonetta or something. Would be cool if it was an actual PS1 game. I mean, yeah, I guess. And I mean, it's not impossible. Even to this day, there are still like fun projects for Game Boy games coming out on actual cartridges. Like, hell, like I can actually tell you like a game on Steam that you can check out that was a Mega Drive release when it came out 5 years ago. So you basically want to see, where was it? Pierre Solar, I think it's called. Yeah, Pierre Solar and the Great Architects. Let me just like link it on Steam, on chat. So there we go. This game, Pierre Solar, which is on Steam by the way, was originally a Mega Drive release in 2014, which is like at least like 20 years after they stopped supporting that. Wait, what? This equipment provides a medical diagnosis of a specimen through a non-invasive scanning procedure. Treatment is administered through an analyte solution drug cocktail that is delivered intravenously. Ugh. Wasn't La Mulana originally? Yeah, but like the original version of La Mulana, the 8-bit version, I think, was an MSX Fun game. Although if I'm being honest, like La Mulana, like MSX Fun games are kind of like DOS games in a way or something, right? I mean, you don't need like special cartridges. That's what I mean. It is like literally, you know, computers in like any name, like anything but name, basically. But it's like a lot more interesting to me that they actually have like on retro consoles releasing actual cartridges that run on them. Like the one that I linked, Pierce Solar, actually had a physical Mega Drive / Genesis cartridge release in 2014, and that console stopped being supported in like 99. Like I don't remember when the Saturn came out, but have I heard of Pico 8? Oh, the little thing with like the God, what is it called? The no, wait, no, that's not Pico 8. Isn't Pico 8 the thing where they had like the minigame of Celeste in as well? I'm pretty sure there's like a Pico 8 like mode, and there's like an achievement for that as well in Celeste. Like play like an 8-bit demake of that. The emergency medical kit sits on the glowing slab, automatically filled with the required dosage of medication. Okay. I mean, I think I've just heard it from Celeste. Nope. Wait, what? Okay. Full hypodermic syringe. Let's stab ourselves with unknown drugs.
Deep breath.
GG. It's a virtual console mimicking specs and capabilities from the 80s. Wait, why did everything go dark?
But Dad.
Oh
Dad
no.
said that if you
It's a flashback.
dreams,
Oh
and you
no.
think of that, you'll be stuck in them forever.
Well, I'll have a good talk to Sandy's parents.
But is it true?
Becca, don't worry, you won't have any dreams for the entire trip. But if you do, just squeeze Teddy, and I promise they'll go away. Now legs up, lay down.
Her legs are weird. Like they seemed a lot longer to be able to do the little dangly
Sweet
thing.
dreams, my girl.
No. Wait. Sing it. Sing the song.
John, looks like we have a song to sing.
Oh no.
Go to sleep.
Oh no, why? Why did there have to be a song? No. That sounds like a dirge.
Monsters can't harm you or me. Close your eyes again.
Oh no. That's also what the original Celeste was made. So wait, like the Pico 8 Celeste that you find in Celeste,
They will pass us by soon.
that's like the original version.
A new
Oh god, it's like very hard to like pay attention when there's like the song happening. Usually Buzz singing. Oh yes.
So go to sleep, my
It's not singing, it's just like talking to a tune.
Your warm bed. Soon you will rise again. So
Here's like a tip for any developer. Don't have your actors sing if they don't have singing on their CVs.
We're gonna have so many drugs in our system that we'll barely remember our own names.
yeah. Somehow squeezing Teddy seemed a little more comforting than you'll be in a drug-induced coma.
Also,
We are almost done here. Do I get a Teddy?
You get a hug.
yay. A hug. A hug that we didn't render because of budget limitations.
I need to...
Just fell asleep fast to escape the singing.
My child. I need to find someone. I need to get out of here.
Okay, so it's basically "Where's my wife?" kind of thing. Only have the voice actor for Kiryu sing.
Functions have been restored to benchmark levels.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I was kind of like expecting that the voice acting wasn't gonna be that great, because as apparently this is not like a very big studio. It's like 5 or 6 people. The guy's in a band when he sings just like in the games. Yeah, I mean, I know. If you've ever played any Yakuza games, like that's probably the true of all of them. Although I will say that I also did enjoy like the Majima songs as well. They're like equally as ridiculous. Although I will say, I do hate that. I don't know how to explain it. Like this is like generally like a gripe that I have in any game that has a rhythm-based mini games or is like rhythm-based generally. It seems to me all those games have kick-ass music for you to listen to, but they also seem to want to have visuals for you to watch, which is dumb, because if you want to be successful in those games, you need to not pay attention to the background, but to like the little notes and like the timing you hit them in. It's so annoying that there's like all these kick-ass animations and like all this like weird and wonderful background noise that you need to ignore, because it's nothing more than a distraction if you actually want to do well on the rhythm bits. Like there's like in the Yakuza 0 games, in the Yakuza 0 game, in most of the karaoke songs, there's like this one bit at the very end where like the characters will kind of like dress up and start doing like really hilarious things that are way out of character. Like Majima dresses up in like a whole like 80s boy band kind of thing, or like I guess that like 70s boy band thing, and kind of like skates around in places, and they're so fun to watch, but you need to actively try to not watch them, because the ends of the song are also where they put the most complex note maps. They're like the bits where you need to pay the most attention on the button presses for. Dame dane. Dame dane. Yeah, and I remember. Like, I didn't even have to open that, and I still remember the song. Oh god. But yeah, I get very annoyed when games do this. Like, there's like a lot of rhythm games. Like Guitar Hero is probably like the first offender that I remember of this regard, where like you can see your actual character, like the band in the background, kind of like jamming along, and you're not supposed to pay attention to it, because all you need to pay attention to, especially on higher difficulty, is like the fret list at the middle of the screen. So everything to the left and right of that might as well just like be like black space. There's like nothing rendered there, like void. And the more kind of like things progress from there, the more elaborate the background fluff was. Like the Yakuza games have the little choreographed bits at the background of the notes, basically. There's stuff like the Vocaloid games. What are those called? Hatsune Miku or something like that. That also have like basically stories happening in the background. There's Elite Beat Agents and the Wendan games on DS. There's like Osu or like Osuo, I don't know like how that's pronounced. You know, all of those. Like, why are you trying to make me look at things when I'm meant to pay attention to the notes? Because I don't know, I guess the developers think it's kind of cool, but I'm not actually looking there, and I'm trying actively to not look at all the cool animations that you're putting in the background, because you need to pay attention to the notes, right? So I really don't get why they insist on doing this. Like, if you're gonna put like those like weird animations, put them in the bits where there isn't any music to follow to. Like, the music plays, but you don't have to actually hit notes. That being said, I think like the best way to do it is with games like what's it called? God, Just Shapes and Beats. If anyone has ever seen Just Shapes and Beats, that's a game where like the cool animations are also the note maps. So it's like it's the stuff you're meant to be paying attention to, so you get to see all the cool animations and you are actively trying to avoid the cool animations. You're not trying to ignore them because they're in the background and they're getting in the way.
Robotics are inactive. Emergency life support active.
Okay, so it will now no longer let me activate the auto dock or whatever it's called. So, okay, the robotic life surgeon is active. Oh, it's like this thing here. The screen of this terminal glows with a weak gray light. Now you get what I mean? I mean, yeah, it's like, haven't you ever played like a rhythm game and there's like stuff going on in the background and all you're trying to do is pay attention to the notes as they come up on screen? So you're not actually paying attention to what's happening behind the notes, like the characters dancing or you know, like the cool blur effects and stuff like that. Let's see. Access surgery logs. Last surgery. Product P. Sowell. Operator Dr. K. Essels. Procedure cranial bone extraction for Sigma Labs. Last surgery complete before Spec Ops surgery lockdown. Product expired during surgery, but bone extraction was successful. Additional notes. The neural drill is stuck again. Every time I try to change it, the arm retracts. Please get maintenance done to fix it. Okay, I guess that's like a hint for later on, right? High-speed neural drill. Please choose surgical equipment below to extend arm and refit tool. Organ extraction, skin harvesting, product spinal tagging. Jesus Christ. Do I want to try that? The arm for the automated robotic surgeon is extended. The mechanism that holds the neural drill in place, unlocked and open. Okay. So I assume this is like a puzzle of some sort. I'm probably gonna have to like make this thing get jammed so I can get the drill off of its edge. Oh, by the way, I never finished like talking about the thing with the like how the pathfinding works in these games. Just like literally kind of like left it halfway through. So you know how I was saying about like the layers? So like on top of like the rendering layers, there's also a pathfinding layer, and that's usually the same. Well, it's usually the same layer as the main rendering layer, the one that the character is supposed to be able to exist on. So the blue layer, which we said is like the one where the character is supposed to be able to step on. How like all these engines kind of like handle pathfinding, which fun fact is also how RTSs used to do pathfinding as well. Is basically they will add little nodes all over the layer. Basically, usually there's like a grid that's kind of like equally spread around like the layer itself, like the available layer anyway. And how the engine works then is that the character is only allowed to do his resting animation, which is the animation where they're still, on top of one of these nodes. And when you give it a command to move, the engine will calculate which is the closest node to where you clicked. Let's say, for example, this one. And then it will calculate the shortest amount of nodes with which to get there. So if you are starting from like here, it would go kind of like this, and then kind of like approximate the average between these. Because remember, the character is not allowed to stop on anywhere but the nodes. So while the graphic might go something like this, if something interrupts that movement, say like an object or an obstacle or something, the character will usually snap to like the closest available node and then continue on to the final destination that it's supposed to reach. You probably saw this in this room when I was coming to from like the flashback. I tried to make the character run this way, and when he got to this point, there was like an interruption, probably because of the layer here. So he just immediately kind of like got teleported to this part here. There we go. Let's see. Let me see if I can just like see. The problem with the pathfinding is that because it doesn't take into account the distance of the character from the camera, it would usually take longer paths just because the nodes themselves are closer together. So in absolute terms, it's farther away, but in relative terms, the distance from node to node is shorter, and therefore the pathfinding subroutine considers that to be like the closest distance, because maybe like the bit here is considered impassable. So see, if I double click this way, see how he kind of like goes from like node to node and like rotates in like very specific angles. See? So there's like a node here, a node here, a node here, 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 and then finally here. Can also often spot this in DS1. Yeah, but in DS1 it's kind of like a different thing. In Dark Souls 1, the pathfinding, I guess, for the enemies kind of does that, but for the character, it's when it aligns you to do the backstabs that you can actually see this. Like, see, like, I'm not exactly sure, but I think like the backstabbing, yeah, it's like the same principle. I mean, it's like the same principle for like most games, but as games get more modern, the pathfinding nodes get more dense because the game can handle more animations. Because obviously, if you have like a room like this and you have 50 nodes, it's a lot less processing power to calculate all the possible distances between all 50 nodes rather than having 500 nodes. Because the game doesn't actually start like randomly pulling lines between nodes to see which one is the closest distance in between. At all times, it calculates the relative distances between all of them. If you've done your job as a programmer, which if you're using like a ready-made engine, it's probably not going to be a feature, but if you're doing something from scratch, you would probably want to play it smart and only calculate up until like 10 or 15 nodes away from the character, so you conserve a little bit of memory and not have to calculate an entire room's worth of nodes. But in principle, it's also a lot less processor intensive to have, say, 50 nodes and have them a bit spread further apart than cover the entire screen like 500 or like 5,000 nodes and have everything be a lot more dense. Because at that point, yes, you're going to have more smooth transition between the nodes, but you're also going to have like 10 to 100 to 1,000 times more calculations to, figure out how the character is going to be placed on all of them. Like in this example, this is like actually like a great example in this room, because like you would think that if I click here, the character should have like to take the smallest like distance between those, but instead, see, he goes like the wrong way around, and he always passes by the same points. Again, there's like a node here, there's like a node here, there's like a node here. Like you can see him on the way back. Like see, like the points where he kind of like rotates is where the next node in the pathfinding AI is. It's not AI per se, but you get the point. That's like a very interesting thing. Like I genuinely enjoy finding these things out. Wait, what?
Attention. Due to the threat of external contamination, a security lockdown is in order. Please meet at your closest administration office for further instructions.
Whoa. Oh no, they found us out. So wait, the second bay of product storage is gone, right? The heavy metal door stands unmoving, occasionally emitting a mechanical hum at the servos and motors attempt futilely, I'm not sure that's a word, to move it open. Also, this is also why you see this weird little kind of like U-turn that the character takes. So what I think happened here is because this is kind of like a narrow space, they only had room for one node without overlapping the foreground layer. So there's like a node here, and because they didn't actually like place an in-between node here, probably, if I'm like from like very limited experience, probably what happened is that they did have a node here in the in-between bits, but it messed with the character sprite. So they removed it and they just like preferred to have like this weird like U-turn happen. Or like the node maybe is like slightly misaligned. So there's like two nodes here. Let's see if we can figure it out. It's like, I think there's like two, actually, yeah, I take that back. I think there's like two nodes here because see, he does like an like almost 180 turn. So there's like probably two nodes here, but something went wrong. Maybe there's like some leftover of the foreground layer here, and the pathfinding engine kind of thinks this is an obstruction. So instead of kind of like going smoothly around the counter, he goes down and then bug up through it. See? I mean, game development is complicated, right? There's like, even if you do everything perfectly, there's always the potential of things kind of like fucking up in wonderful and unexpected ways. But again, I find it interesting. I did have like dreams of making my own games when I was younger. So to that end, to that end, I did kind of like try to educate myself on how things work, and 2D adventure game engines kind of were a good starting point. Actually, if you ever want to start into game development as like a self-contained project, I would probably recommend something like a text adventure engine. Nowadays, Ink is a pretty good one because it's visual based with text output and graphics, and it also has like a kind of like visual editor for most of it. So it does this thing where you can kind of like connect actions, and basically just by writing just by formatting your text a certain way, it picks up different like functions. So if you kind of like indent your text, like tab it to the left, it considers that like a dialogue option for like the preceding sentence. If you tab it twice, it's like it does like a, what's it called, like a dialogue tree, or RenP. Yeah, RenP is basically like the visual novel equivalent, but Ink is a bit more versatile because it also allows you to have graphics, but it's more text driven and more like kind of like physical language rather than coding. Gotta say though, like whoever did the backgrounds here did like very good job. Also, this little corner here is where the pathfinding person, the person that did like the layers we were talking about, was a bit cheeky, because see what they did? They have like the whole pre-rendered aspect, and then they have like a dynamic light here, which is a sprite or like a lighting effect of its own, but it's partially obscured by this pylon, by this like pillar here. So it does actually light up the background here, but it gets obscured by the foreground here. This is like a very interesting thing, because like normally you'd want to avoid this on the off chance that like it would glitch out, and because it's 2D pre-rendered backgrounds for the most part, the edge lighting doesn't look correct here. Getting the loader. I mean, this is not. Oh, this is a loader. Oh, you're right. Let's see. The floor lighting seems standard for this level. The door to the maintenance area. The information terminal reads code 5448 level lockdown. Okay. There's like a door we can go through here. This is locked in the freight elevator. Heavy loader. With a fine layer of dust and leaking oil underneath, the loader appears to have been unused for a long time. Sure. Get away from here, you bitch. Oh, pop culture references. Empty. Ooh, no kidding.
Fuck, I
just fuck. I mean,
hell is everyone?
they're all dead, dude. You're in a horror point and click game. Everyone's dead, basically. Where do we start here? Hold on. Let me be a bit more methodical about this. Wait, what? It's like music. Oh, it's the advertisement. Juca Cola. Who needs sleep? I mean, you don't really drink cola to stay asleep, asleep. The seats of the chairs are threadbare, the fabric pattern all but indistinguishable. Yeah. The dead tree stands bare in the corner of the room, dried leaves surrounding its base. The bright red wall-mounted box reads, in case of emergency, break glass. Can I actually just break the glass? Oh my god, the pathfinding. Yep, you can just like punch the glass. A note inside the empty... Oh my god, they're gonna do like a Zork thing. Oh, I love this. Hold on. A note inside the empty emergency box reads, due to budget cuts, the fire axe has been replaced with this note. Have a nice day. Oh no. Oh, I did not expect this kind of humor from this game. I'm liking it. I guess we get we get the glass shards though. A knife-like shard sits among the piece of shattered glass. Yay. Now we can go stab things. Woo. A Luxo lamp. Oh, we just like turn it on. Let's see. The admin computer buzzes on the desk, awaiting input from a user. So, in case you didn't get that reference, I don't know if anyone's ever played or has even heard of Zork Grand Inquisitor. I was like the very last game in a pretty emblematic series of adventure games that started out with text adventures. Zork was basically Infocom's like flagship series back in the day. Infocom being like the granddaddies of text adventures, basically. Grand Inquisitor was like the very last game to ever come out. That was like long after Infocom as an entity stopped existing, basically. And like all the IPs had been bought by Activision at that point. So Zork Grand Inquisitor was a Myst-esque game of pre-rendered 3D locations where you could kind of like rotate the camera around, and the usual, Myst-like puzzles, except it had a twist. It was fully aware of how absurd Myst-like puzzles are, so it took every opportunity to make fun of them and itself. So in this case, there was like one of the very early puzzles in that game. By the way, if you didn't realize, I love Zork Grand Inquisitor. You can actually get it on GOG for like €6 or something. Please do. It's an education and a half in both like comedy and satire and kind of like I don't want to say innovative puzzle design, but it's like certainly offbeat puzzle design. So one of like the very early puzzles of the game is like the moment you enter the dungeon proper, like the Great Underground Empire. One of your first tasks is to properly equip yourself with a map and a sword. So you get to a point where there's like this emergency box on the wall, which says like, in case of emergency, break glass. It turns out in there is a sword and a map kind of like clasped on and secured to the wall in the box. So you can actually open the box, the glass door kind of like opens up. But if you do it that way, the map and the sword don't get released. However, in the box is also a hammer. So you pick the hammer up, you close the box again, and then you smash the glass with the hammer that was inside the box. And that releases the sword and the map. And that's the kind of absurdist puzzle design that game has, and it's so good. It's like every puzzle is at least gets a couple of laughs out of you. Like there's like this other puzzle which is, I mean, it's kind of like easy to figure out. I'm not like spoiling much, but you get like a spell that allows you to make purple things invisible, and you get to a point where there's like an infinite corridor, and it says at the entrance on top in purple writing infinite corridor. So what you're meant to do is cast that spell. I don't remember what it's called. It's like Reserve or something. Anyway, you need to cast the spell that makes purple things invisible on I and N, so the infinite corridor becomes a finite corridor, and you can actually go through it because it's no longer infinite. Because it doesn't say on top that it's infinite, so it isn't. I love that game. I'm gonna have to like figure out if I can stream it at some point. It's such a good game. Not because it's got like amazing puzzle design, but it's one of those rare games where they set out to make something be a satire of something else, and they succeeded without being either like mean-spirited about it or like totally like incomprehensible. There's like, it's one of those cases where they make a universe, like the game world that they create is consistent by its own rules, which are not necessarily IRL rules, but it does have its own rules and you can learn them. And once you get into the mentality and the mindset of that game world, it suddenly becomes like this fun adventure that you get to experience. Because like the moment you figure out you can make the letters of infinite become finite to solve a puzzle about an infinite corridor, then like it kind of like opens up like this whole set of different options that you never would have realized otherwise, and it's all consistent. It all works by its own internal logic. It's got verisimilitude, which is like a word that I love using and saying, which is when something is consistent to its own internal logic and rules. Not necessarily realistic, but at least it has a set of rules that it follows to the letter. Like, it doesn't necessarily make you feel like the world is realistic, but it does make you believe that it is something that could exist, because it consistently behaves the way you expect it to behave by its own rules. Let's see. Robert Freely, General Administrative Officer. Wait, what? Do I get to choose? Product storage security. Let's see. Select door security system. Administrator office door unlocked. Infirmary unlocked. Maintenance door unlocked. Oh, okay.
Notice. Maintenance doors unlocked. Lock will be engaged in 3 hours.
Product storage bay 2 door is damaged. Okay, we can get there. Main freight elevator. Oh, it won't let me. So it only unlocked the maintenance door. Fair enough. So what about the notifications? Notification 1, lockdowns. Just a note to remind all crew that the lockdown system is still connected to the storage tanks. If the system locks down, you can falsify a leak and it will reset. Falsify a leak? How do you do that? Oh, the storage tanks. Okay, bathrooms. The bathrooms are now in working order. Peters will be back on duty in 4 shift rotations. Okay. Like, I mean, I don't get that yet. I mean, it's probably the... Like, we have to do something to the storage tanks to unlock the elevator. Anyway, let's see. Robert Freely, security systems. Security told us 14 days ago that they'll be rewiring the lockdown systems. So for 2 weeks, we've had to deal with random system shutdowns. 2 days ago, Peters was locked in the bathroom while it flooded, and we only got him out this morning. He's just thankful this didn't happen last Tuesday when hydroponics had the screw up with the poison mushrooms. Or we would have been painting the walls of the elevators in transit to the... in transit to the crew level bathrooms. Gross. Maintenance was down here for the final rewiring of the lockdown systems. It's all working except the cross wires with the central product storage systems. Every single time a leak is reported in the storage tanks, the system resets instead of auto-sealing the leak. It's nothing we can deal with in the short term. I know it's going to take forever to get them back down here to fix this. Oh wait, we have to go back to our, like, where we woke up? And, like, fake a leak? The new doctor in charge of cracking pods has complained about the surgical bot. Something about the tool selection. I told him to just log a complaint with maintenance like the rest of us and hope something happens. He was not impressed. Nice. I spoke with Sarah Salvador, a nurse in product storage, about getting in some new personnel to help with the opening of the new stasis pods. The last nurse left due to the emotional stress. I guess she had a breakdown while they cracked the pod and there was a kid inside. Oof. Okay. So I guess my objective at the moment is to go get the storage tanks to flood or to leak or something. I was like sitting here. Why am I able to use them? Okay.
Steady yourself. There has to be someone here. Someone who can help.
Someone dead. The brittle leaves from the dead tree have long since fallen to the ground. Let me see. It was like in the toilets. Oh, these are like proper horror game toilets. Metal sink. Let's see. A metal sink stained by the drip, drip, drip of blood. Water stains streak down the metal sink. Standard metal sink caked in soap and dirt. A clean metal sink. Okay, we're using this one probably. Yes, and just like turn these ones on. It is like a way to like activate all of them, I guess. I don't get the drip, drip, drip of blood one though. Like, where's the blood coming from? A filthy wet towel plugs the hole of the toilet, and of course we're gonna pick it up.
This is disgusting.
Why did you do it if it's disgusting? Like, it would have made much more sense to go, oh, gross, but I may need this, or something. A surprisingly clean toilet bowl.
Good to know the important stuff keeps on working.
Yeah, I mean, blood and stuff, but sure, keeps on working. Flashing won't clean this metal toilet bowl of the rust that has accumulated over the years. Gross. Also, I do kind of wonder, like, we got the towel, maybe...
I can try to make it fit, but it may break.
Okay. I guess we don't... I was kind of like thinking maybe you need to wrap it around the shard of glass to be able to, like, hold it. But maybe not. Okay, so we've unlocked maintenance. Littered papers with illegible writing. The illegible notes on the scattered pieces of paper indicate the author must have been a doctor or a scientist. Oh. I don't like that. That sound in the background. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's like ways to die in this game, to be honest.
Warning. Air filtration system offline. Toxicity increasing to dangerous level.
Oh, you know what? Probably have to put it on my face. No?
No, that won't work.
Pressure regulation. Pressure release valve. Oh, it's stuck, okay.
It's stuck.
The large red wheel might have a chance of turning if you give it your all. Again.
Come on, old man.
Did we get it? No. Oh. Hey.
There you go.
We did it. We're so strong. Yarg. I have like no idea what I did here. Also, you know what? Before we do anything else, we just like save. That's like important, right? PDA.
Smell.
It's sweet. Andrew Bryan. Andrew here at 6 a.m. I'm absolutely exhausted. Simon volunteered to be a research subject. CSEC sent me down to the ass end of the ship to fix the fluid storage tanks. Okay. System failure. Please contact A. Bryan, engineer level 1. Okay. Oh, it's like the fluid tanks. Okay. Kind of bubbling fluids. There's not a lot that I can interact with outside of the PDA. Guess I need to use something on the tanks, but maybe later. You're off to bed. Thank you, for dropping by, man. Have a nice rest of the evening. Always appreciate it. Okay, so again, I guess you need to do something in the pod rooms or something. Danger, danger. Danger, Will Robinson. I guess you need to, like, make it think like it's leaking or something.
This isn't going to work. I can't see it working like that. No, that won't work. I don't think this will fit. I don't think that'll work. No. Crazy.
Tired AF. I know the feeling. Which actually why I've been putting off so many of my streams lately. I really hate doing that, but eh. Oh wait, you know what I just realized? You know the little drill here that you're supposed to get, I think. So I think the idea is that you need to make this extend. And then you're actually meant to go here, short the system, so there's like no power for it to retract. And now you can come back and just like grab it, right? Hey, we got a high-powered drill, high-speed neural drill. Okay. See, that's kind of clever. Like, I'm not actually sure if there's like anything else that I should be doing.
Robotics are inactive.
Like, I don't get why there's like all these different like surgery prep options. Like, I guess like all of them extend the arm, but maybe it's like one of those like red herrings where, you know, there's like, it doesn't really matter like which option you choose. Just so that like it's trying to confuse you into thinking that you need to select the correct option, while the actual like solution is to just kill the power after it's extended. So there's like a couple of things that the drill probably does. It will either let me drill into these to fake a leak, I think.
This isn't gonna work.
Or potential like the others in the maintenance area. Now, what the? I'm going to be honest that I don't like really like that. Like, there's like all these like really small areas in the game, and they couldn't have made like bigger ones. I mean, it kind of like depends, I guess, on the... Ooh. Yes. I say leak. Psh.
Attention. System rebooted. Air scrubbers activated.
Activated.
Finally, some good news.
Nice. Okay, so I guess now we can breathe. There's like nothing we could be doing here, though. The empty barcoded crates have been stacked untidily against the wall. I did notice like whoever wrote the at least like the hotspot inspection bits, they do seem to think like a lot of words can go like, you know, put like a subjective bit to it and just like made like untidy to untidily, and it doesn't really work. Like, I think grammatically it's correct, but it feels a bit awkward. P storage. Oh my god, they're storing their P here. P storage 2. Oh. Wait, was in the in the VATs? Gross. Untotally. Untidily. Yeah, it sounds awkward. I don't know. To me, at least, it sounds very awkward.
Attention. Product storage 2. Access to product storage 2 is denied until further notice.
Okay. I guess we're not even allowed to exit. Yep. Fine. I mean, there's probably going to be like just one option that, you know, works. There's like no product storage 3. Service lobby, I guess. Service lobby 1. Let's try that. I also don't particularly like the transition here because, I don't know, it takes forever. And I kind of assume at one point, this is like mask
Attention.
service platform, okay.
Service platform 1. Please check in with the duty officer before...
I assume like the reason it's like so long of like a animation is because they're trying to load the next bits of the room, like the next room in sequence. Which again, it makes me feel bad to kind of like criticize, because it might just be, you know, like a limitation of the engine at the end of the day. So, dirt cakes the inside of the glass observation portal. Smeared blood makes it impossible to see into the room below. Closed body bags. Oh, the outline of a human adult can be seen in the body bag. Ooh, what's this? So blood obscured the room beyond the glass. Okay. Judging from the toe tag, this body has already been processed by some departmental facility. What did we get? Electronic toe tag. I mean, you can't even like examine these, which is kind of annoying.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I mean, sorry for what? You're not the one that killed them, right? The dead child's eyes stared directly at you, as if in recrimination. I mean, maybe it turns out that we are the ones that killed everyone, but kind of doubt it.
Something like this. Oh God. I need to get to Rebecca.
The body of a child. You almost feel guilty with the flood of relief when you realize it's not your own. See, that's like actually good writing here. It's shortened to the point, but it does have like a couple of... Fuck me, what was that? Oh. Wait, are we seeing how the corpse behind us died? That was really well done.
Security
Shit.
holograms are still working.
That was actually really well done. Like, for an isometric game, it actually got like a startle out of me. Well freaking done. I wasn't even like 100% paying attention there. GG. Like, This deserves actually like a GG in chat as well. Well done. The airtight enclosure of the body bag has made it difficult to judge how long this corpse has been lying here. Let's see. Clara Daniels, General Nurse Biome Labs, Personal Data Tag 558866, GNS Security Level 1. Wait, Clara Daniels, wasn't she like the one that quit? New job. When Mike suggested I go in product storage, I honestly thought he was nuts. Okay, let's see. I mean, the pay is great and the hours are fantastic. But the job, well, I think it'll be boring. Apparently the only time a nurse ever needed is when they crack a stasis tube open, which Robert, the admin officer, said hardly ever happens. 9 times out of 10 they just take the pods directly to the different projects. I'm hopeful that we'll be able to open one soon. Tomorrow I actually get to do some work that doesn't involve monitoring vital signs. We're opening a pod for Dr. Isaacs in Project Kitchen Knife. They said they need a specimen who is fully awake. These pods are filled with prisoners and drifters. They had their chance at a productive life and ruined it all. Yesterday was much harder than I imagined. When we opened the pod, the woman inside had no idea where she was. I'm aware that long-term stasis can cause disorientation, but she kept screaming for her husband, saying they were on their way to holiday in Europa. Wait, that was my wife, right? And let's see, the doctor quickly sedated her and gave her a vocal cord numbing agent to stop the screaming. I mean, she was obviously lying about being a holiday maker. These drifters will say anything to get... Oh no, she's dumb. We got another 2 products in this morning. Transfers from a penal colony on Earth. I asked to have a look at their files, hoping it will make this a little easier, but I was told all records are sealed. I had to delete the last few logs. I read them over again, but they were just too painful. I can still hear the crying of the last man we thought out. He didn't even scream. He sat on the bed, crying until the doctors came in. They tagged him and took him down to the labs. He didn't even scream. Has a wife and she was lying. Yeah. Yesterday we opened up a pod with a 10-year-old boy in it. There must have been some sort of mistake. Even if he was a drifter, he's a child. His name is Neil. He's in rehabilitation downstairs. I had to go and visit him, but it was sort of easier for me if I just let it go. I want out of product storage. I requested a transfer to the biomes. I think hydroponics will cheer me up. The pay isn't as good, but at least I'll be able to sleep at night. Oh, that was it? I heard the department heads talking about getting something from product storage. They already have 4 unopened stasis pods in the lab, but they're looking for a subject that can respond immediately. This isn't right. They're using products from product storage too. I thought it was just a hydroponics bay. What the hell would they need human specimens for? Sarah told me that there are more children in the rehabilitation centers under product storage. I was like, product storage 2, right? I'm going there tonight. These security lockdowns have been happening more frequently. I'm going to use them to my advantage. Tomorrow I'm going to get those kids out of here. I'm leaving these entries on this PDA, so if I disappear, you know what happened. Whoever's reading this, you need to help. Please, help those children. Okay. Yeah, oh, no, she didn't disappear. She's like, this is like the corpse here. So she didn't actually, you know, disappear. Biometric door requires a handprint. Okay.
Attention. Biometric handprint not recognized. The mortuary requires level 5 security.
Well, yeah, I mean,
access.
she was like, I think she was killed. Like the little jump scare thing that happened here. Like someone shot her or something, cut her hand off. Like, you think it will let me? I mean, she's probably not level 5, is she? No. She's probably not level 5 anyway. I assume the game is gonna make it clear when we get to, like, whoever's hand we're supposed to cut. And there's only, like, one more location we could be going to. You know what? I'm working from home tomorrow, so I can like stream for another hour maybe. So once the loading screen is done, I'm gonna run the final 30 seconds of ads because we're like 4 minutes away from like the ad cooldown.
It's getting colder.
So I'm gonna pause and I guess like save. And here come the ads. See you in 30 seconds for the final hour of the stream. Almost there. And we should be back. Again, sorry about this. What? Is that his wife? Service elevator, service elevator. Let's see. A flickering light highlights the scratches on the elevator door. Some of the scratches look like they were made by bare nails across the paint. The yellow paint of the service elevator door flakes to the ground. A spinning red hologram indicates that the door is locked. Okay. It's like this way. Oh, gross. Oh, this is gonna be a bad one. Hold on. What does it say? Essential of decomposition wafts your way, thanks to the languid spin of the fan. Dead body. Exposed human fat catches the light as blood flows freely onto the cold metal floor. The static of a radio signal and a faint voice echo out from under the corpse. Like, it's twitching though. Do I really want to push it? Gross. Thank you for that. Are you feeling better now? I guess this used to be Yuri. It's like what's left of him.
Radio signal through cloud suit.
Okay.
Hello? Is anyone there?
Who is this? Identify yourself.
My name is John Maracek. I'm...
John? How did... Never mind. It's Yuri there.
Isn't that like his wife? Like Rebecca or whatever her name is?
He's dead.
Shit. Listen to me, John.
No, wait. Who are you?
My name is Taya Hensley. I'm a botanist in hydroponics.
Oh, she's not.
I know you have questions, but right now, you need to get to the tram.
I'm not going anywhere until you explain to me what the hell is going on.
This guy's dead. Like,
Still there.
exactly.
And I'll tell you everything.
Thank you. Like, you see a guy's corpse, and like the first thing you think shouldn't be, oh, tell me what's going on. The first thing would be like GTFO. Yuri Leonov, Botanist Biome, Personal Data Tag 934433, Security Level 5. Okay. Can we get his hand or something? Yep. Gross. Mmm. Yum, yum, yum. Yep. There we go. Like, this should come in handy. I am not sorry. That was totally worth it. These crates hold nothing of use.
Do not...
Wait, what? Oh.
Attention. Tram terminal access will be granted once biological containment protocols have completed.
Tell me where I am.
Wait, aren't you a crew member?
Crew member? No. I don't know how I got to this place.
What's the last thing you recall?
Holidays.
My wife and daughter, we were on our way to Titan. And then I woke up here. That's it. I can't remember anything else.
I heard rumors of Kane Corporation hijacking civilian transports and bringing them here.
Where is here?
The Groom Lake. It's a medical research ship.
But Kane, why would they need a ship for research? They have dozens of facilities.
Human experimentation.
Because it's illegal. I mean,
Here,
come on.
They can do, well,
Have you never seen an alien movie?
My wife, my daughter. I need to find them.
Does Wayland Yutani tell you nothing?
but first you need to get to the tram. Get moving.
Get to the chopper.
Warning. Biological scans are inconclusive.
What does that even mean? Actually, can I go back to the... to the morgue? Or... Like that will the game like end up like killing me if I deviate from the path? Like will like a monster drop down and eat me while I'm trying to like head back and open the morgue? Like, this is something I still don't get about this game. Is it supposed to be like horror in the sense that, you know, something can just like up and kill you out of the shadows if you know, take too long, or if you go down the wrong path? Or is it one of those cases where you just, you know, everything is kind of like scripted?
Access granted. Welcome, Yuri Linov.
Yay, I'm so smart.
The morgue.
Fuck yeah.
It's cold.
What is?
The mortuary.
I think it's supposed to be cold.
No, no kidding. Discarded reports. Let's see. Jane Doe, Aubrey Henderson, Thomas Rojaraka, I guess. Crowbar through skull. Okay. I really don't know what like I'm supposed to learn from these. Iced over portal. Indistinguishable shapes lie beyond the portal. Furnace. The combustion of bodies at high temperature is facilitated by this open furnace unit. A series of interlocking teeth are wrapped around the mechanical wheels. Beyond the portal, everything is pitch black. Frozen liquid cakes the glass, obscuring the contents. The faint outline of a rusted red metal handle is visible through the frosted over portal. I think this is the important one. Guess we probably have to find like a way to drill through or something.
See it working like that.
How about the furnace? Is there like a puzzle of some sort? I don't know.
It doesn't work like that.
Guess it's like one of those cases where, you know, smart thinking, but maybe not just yet. Oh. What did I do? The wet towel is wound tightly into the cog mechanism. How is this a solution of anything? Yeah, I really don't get what the game is trying to get me to do. Okay.
Temperature increasing to dangerous level. The duty officer has been notified of equipment failure. Please evacuate area immediately.
Okay. I burned to death. GG, melted. Okay, I even got an achievement for melting. Oh.
The morgue.
Okay, so I guess the game is at least like decent enough.
It's cold.
What is?
The mortuary.
I think it's supposed to be cold.
So I think the idea is the cogs that like control the door are stuck, so you need to put the towel there to like fasten them, and then you need to use the toe tag from the corpse outside so that the system thinks that you can like there's like a corpse that you need to cremate, right? I guess. So now we're just like waiting for everything to thaw out so we can just go in there and just get whatever it is that's yep, there we go.
Oh god.
I guess I think this is the thing. The bones make a rough sketch of the human form. An unbearable stench rises from the rotting corpse. Oh, is that this guy with the crowbar? The crowbar is lodged firmly into the cadaver's head.
Oh god.
Wait, is that what I needed to get? The crowbar? Yum.
I can hear you're taking strain. But keep your eyes on the end goal. Your family. They need you.
Family. Your family. GG. Can she be more manipulative? I mean, if I were like a designer, this is probably where I would put like a jump scare again. Or maybe not. I don't know. Guess it kind of depends.
So once I get this tram working, where do I go?
Your best bet is to find medical access terminal. Medical wing is
Oh.
on the tram line, so it should be
So I'm
fine.
pretty sure I kind of skipped a little bit of the game.
I'm sorry.
I think you were probably meant to go all the way up to the tram
Be safe.
and for whatever reason see that it's not working, so that you actually need the crowbar to, you know, gain access. I don't know if like there's probably like some kind of monster around here as well. I don't know if there's like anything that should have, you know, appeared.
Oh, the tram looks dark.
Yep, there we go.
It's got no power.
Take a look around. There must be a way to get it up and running.
Okay. Alright, I'll see what I can find.
There must be a way to get it up. Okay, I'll start rubbing. That's probably something to do with the console here, right? Closed breaker box. There we go. Tram charging system is written across the front of the metal box. Sturdy metal lock sits on the head of the cover, keeping the breaker from opening. Yeah, okay. Let's go like this. Yep. Puzzles. But what puzzles? It's kind of annoying that I don't really know what to interact with. Tram power level. Okay, let's see. Switch tram line. Line out of order. Line 2 active. Recharge tram. Okay, switch tram line. Tram cannot charge while power levels are below 60%. Okay. So, spinning extraction fan. I didn't see any like fuses or anything, because that's kind of like something missing in the middle. It's probably supposed to be like some kind of fuse or something. Mm-mm. Yeah. I don't know. What am I missing in the breaker box?
I don't think this will fit.
Like, yeah, there's like probably something that I need to do here, right? Like, Oh, there's like another breaker box on this side. Whoops. Tram breaker line. So, oh, wait. I need to charge it? Where's my... Hey. Wait. Where's the... Where's the thing that I took? Fuse. Oh, there we go. Now the fuse is here. I charge it and then I remove the fuse and put it back where I got it. Right? And let's see. Charge. Ah, I like the little like sound effect. Hey, you need to switch lines. Because I guess like this line is inoperable, right? So I need to get the fuse, put it in the other box so I can switch lines. Yeah. And
All done. Destination set.
there we go.
Start the tram, will be on your way.
Wonder if there's gonna be another jump scare here, or like a kind of like action sequence. Let's see. Line switch. Ooh, cutscenes. Nice.
How long?
How long what?
How long ago was the evacuation? My family would have left with everyone else, with the people that made it out.
That's
Would they?
not sure.
Would they though?
That blood looked pretty dry.
It's been a while. We've been stuck in this death trap for about 3 months now.
How did I wake up now?
There are more of us originally. Yuri and I were the last. We were repairing the shuttles. We're almost done. Yuri was out getting supplies when...
Poor Yuri.
Was he I mean, were you and he?
Yuri,
Wink, 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 nudge, nudge.
we would have killed each other long
Come on,
ago.
go out and say it, like, did you fuck?
Listen, boy, we got things done. I was married once.
I'll miss him though. He actually got shit done. I'm like, oh, wait, is that who I am going to be now?
How many of your cockroaches do I have to kill, Rosette?
Milan, let's talk about this.
This was the last straw.
Why is this guy so offensively accented?
And as for your little egg,
Warning. Brakes disabled.
Uh-oh.
Low pass filters disabled. Structural integrity compromised. An evacuation is advised.
How can you just like disable the brakes? Isn't there like some kind of like failsafe to stop this thing from happening? It's like interesting cutscenes though. I mean, the choreography isn't like quite there. Like I think it would have benefited from like different camera angles to give it like more of a sense of speed, but like it's good. Like the alternative would probably have been to just like do pre-rendered, you know, stills, and that's probably not great either. So I mean, like fair enough, they at least like tried for it. I don't know, like one thing I've noticed like is like a lot of loading screens.
Are you okay? I lost the tram signal.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I can barely make you out.
Are you hurt?
No. I think I'm okay. I'm fine. I need to get out of this tram. It's okay.
Uh-oh.
I think I can make the jump.
Jump!
The what now? The jump? Do I?
You scared the hell out of me. You see where you
Well,
Just a second.
wait, I'm gonna drop and then it's gonna like fall down on me. Yep. Almost. Jesus Christ.
Shit, that was close.
John, are you okay?
I'm fine. You're breaking up. I can't hear you.
Why is he laughing? Is he like enjoying this?
Tia? Come in.
Like, oh, that was awesome. It's like, are you dumb?
Together.
You're lucky not to have been crushed by the flying wreck.
Where the hell am I?
The tram has reached its last stop on the line. The sound of its unplanned parking procedure still rings in your head. The tram's crash has left a menagerie of debris in its wake. I don't think menagerie is used in that way, but sure. Concrete strips of metal power lines and a further mangled mess. Yeah, okay, so there's not much of anything else I could be... Oh, hello. Nylon emergency tape.
I could use this.
Yay. An unremarkable poster has been tracked to the wall. A sizable comprehensive toolbox has been abandoned here. Yay, tools.
51. I left in 2148. 3 years ago. These bastards had us here for 3 years.
Construction light calendar. Wait, that was it? The PDA? Okay. Lots of exposition.
Oh, shit. Where the hell am I going to find a key in this mess?
There's like so much loading in this game. I don't get it. I don't get why, actually. Ooh, there's like so much of it. Come on. Oh,
See,
gross.
I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm in some sort of... Oh, I'm not sure what to call it.
Gross. Unlike its partner, this floodlight sits in silence, projecting no illumination. A generator rig hums softly. Heavy-duty floodlight has been positioned on this platform, possibly to assist in construction work. The electricity pole serves the vital function of keeping high-voltage electrical cables away from the liquid-filled vats. Destroyed crosswalk. Okay, yeah, we don't want to step there. I was like a lot of clones. Gross. It's okay. I assume what I need to do is somehow make the electricity pole fall into the vat. Just like shock the shit out of everyone. Something like this. Push. Come on. Oh, wait. Hold on. Hold on. Crowbar? I mean, this kind of makes sense, right? Bzz.
Okay, now let's see what I can
Let's see
do.
exposed wires. Let's see generator.
It still has fuel in it. Some luck at last.
And the exposed wires? Do I have to combine them with something else? Wonder if there's like some kind of cabling that I need to extract or something.
This ain't working.
Maybe with like the drill. Fine, let's just like read the PDA, see if there's like any hints to it. Kane certainly spared no expense on the engineering index. More often than not, the air conditioning breaks faster than maintenance can come back to fix it. The walk to the restrooms can exceed 10 minutes on a good day. It's of no consequence. With the large retirement plan Kane has prepared for me, I'd happily work in a cardboard box lined with thumbtacks for the rest of my career. I'm scheduled to receive my new heart and lungs within the next few months, at which point I may finally retire to join my wife, Rosalind, in Chicago. Until then, cigarettes and foods at the high saturated fat content will continue to carry me through the day. This evening, I was surveying the equipment in the decks when I noticed something rather unusual. A very fine layer of some sort of fungal substance was beginning to settle on the machinery. It's even found its way into the dials and monitors. They look filthy on the inside. Given the conditions around here, though, the growth of mold on any surface should come as no surprise. But it seems to be interfering directly with the performance of the Groom Lake. So it's of some urgency that it's taken care of. I've reported it to maintenance. Hopefully they'll be quick and clean it up. Everyone's like after maintenance in this game. Kane Corporation must be pleased with my performance so far. I've woken up to the promotion. I'm in charge of the construction of new cloning vats effective immediately. Have little time to elaborate. This job is important and urgent, I believe. I never anticipated the project would be on such a huge scale. Clones will be created in mass quantities, utilize several megawatts filled with special equipment and enriching liquid to accelerate the growth process. I must enhance the rate of which we'll be creating clone batches. They've invented a method of manufacturing human beings faster than humans can biologically. Blah blah blah. Project Seed insists that the cloning vats are put to use immediately despite the fact that they're far from complete. The vats can certainly sustain the cloning process, but some safety precautions are lacking. Like, the holding chamber for research clones have no power routed to them, so electronic locks are useless. The workways above the vats are still only temporary. O'Sullivan fell in the guardrail into the vat yesterday. Had it not been filled with sanitization solution, he would have lost him. The clones appear to operate entirely on instinct. One of the complete human clones in Vat Theta bit a good chunk out of Miss Keen's ear during feeding time. Blech. 3 of the completed research subjects tore through their holding chambers analog logs last night over the labs. They found Peters bent over backwards with his head between his knees. Ugh. He's not going to be walking again anytime soon. Okay. Sullivan request was denied. Keen, however, has been transferred to Project Seed. I've been stealthily increasing the portions of food to Elon's batch in VAT 449. Although just hearts and lungs, I can't help but feel an attachment. Additionally, we've noticed a mass of organic matter has sprouted a tail and swims around aimlessly. Jesus. O'Sullivan wants to name it after his mother-in-law. Samantha, the impossible human fish monstrosity, crushed Elon with her thrashing as she was being removed from her vat. Most of the other clones in the batch have similar deformities. None of them actually grew into heart and lung tissue as they were meant to. In fact, the results are thus far horrifying. Everyone has been acting strange lately. O'Sullivan didn't show up this week, leaving me to tend to the vats by myself. I don't understand why this has been permitted, but management would have most certainly dragged him down here by a cheeks if there was no legitimate justification. Speaking of cheeks, one of the complete human clones took a chunk out of mine and was escorting it to the research labs. Oof. The Groom Lake has been completely locked down. A massive tremor shook and collapsed the walkways over the cloning vats. I'm trapped. I can't access the bulkhead. If this lockdown is anything like the last one was, it should be over soon enough. Hopefully sooner than later. 2 packs of cigarettes will only last for so long. I can hear screams of terror through the ceiling. They echo. Each reverberation is a reminder that I'm fortunate to be down here, not up there. Although my supplies are running out. I sincerely hope that I don't have to swim for it. If the clones don't get me, cardiac arrest from the aerobic exercise will. I'm going to attempt to swim across Vat Theta. I'll reach the other side and try and get myself to the next level of the ship. Clones have been violently floundering in the growth liquid. Given what they did to Peters, I might not see the under end of this vat. The remainder of this entry is to be delivered to my wife. Okay. Rosalind, I can only hope that I have the opportunity to deliver this to you myself. If not, I must attempt to express with words I have long convey physically. Should I die before I can get off this vessel every moment of my life? Blah 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 will scream your name. Okay. Jesus Christ. Okay. He says he's immortal. I don't think that was actually the case, to be honest. But I'm pretty sure I also missed something here. Because it kind of feels like I need something to short the The two exposed cables. Although I'm not actually seeing anything here. Or here. Like there's probably like something in the toolbox, right?
These don't go well together. This should be useful.
Oh, crowbar grappling hook. Okay. And what do we need that for? Oh, to pull the body, maybe? It doesn't quite work, does it? But, I mean, fine.
Rest.
Toolbox keys. Yay! Fuck that guy. We got the keys. This was like wire here. Yep. Jumper cable. Oh, adventure games. You know, just like have an entire box for just one thing.
This goes on here.
Yes. And I guess like the other bit.
This goes over here.
Yeah. Bzz. Just like fry a whole vat full of clones and then turn it on. Bzz. Yep. Yep, I just fried a bunch of dudes.
To your current state of health. Please stay calm.
Please stay calm after having murdered all these people. Bloody handprints. A long smear from a pair of bloody handprints streaked down into the vats as if someone were dragged into the bubbling morass. God, that's awful. Can I just like do it again? Yeah, open an entire box of great supplies, get one biscuit, and then discard the rest. Yeah, we'd actually let me swim in it now. Disgusting, by the way. Gross.
Stay above the water.
This is so gross. Yay, we made it. Blah blah blah. Woohoo.
Tia, can you hear me? I'm working on getting out of here. I can see
Where am I?
a
Oh.
light far above me. I think it's a way out.
The screen of this terminal is smashed and splashed with speckles of blood. Spider webs of cracks radiate outward from several damaged sections of the display panel. No power runs to the terminal. It's busted. VAT 13, VAT 12, VAT 11. Okay. Guess we somehow need to do things on these computers. VAT Theta 152. Standard growth enhancement agents. Complete human clones intended for immediate testing. Mary had a little lamb. Jesus. Okay. Its fleece was black as coal. When Mary went to bed one night, I ate her fucking soul. Okay. That's well adjusted. Let's see. Report 152A. Subject appeared to develop bone and tendon structure prior to vital organs, but following nervous system oh my god. Please tell me I'm not gonna have to just like figure out how to form everything in like correct order. I was just like gonna use everything and find out. Standard growth enhancement agents, 150% concentration plus additional growth hormones obtained from Project Seed. Incomplete human clones intended for harvest of pulmonary and coronary tissue. Okay. Cool. So the Samantha thing isn't in here anymore. Thankfully. Specimens begin to move about the map, blah blah blah. Subject with 5% acceleration. Multiple subjects can combine to form a larger mass of anthropoid limbs and organs. Its surface was then ruled diseased. It appeared to be composed of approximately 20 human-like bodies, all roughly infant-sized. Gross. So, okay, like this is like the VOD thing. Oh, crossbeam. Okay, I get to climb up there. No, I get to jump like an idiot. Oh, okay, hold on. Yeah. So this is like another thing that I like about this game. You get like multi-purpose. What's it called? Multi-purpose inventory items. It's just like one use and then you discard it. Well, now we're kind of stranded. Wait, what? Where am I? Oh, here? Wait, where's my character? John? Oh, there we go. It's right here. Guess like the only way is up. This is such a weird room to like be traversing. Okay, I get you are giving it like a sense of scale. It's still like weird to like make you watch all of that. Shouldn't be throwing away my hammers after using it from one nail. Yeah, I mean, of course, it makes sense to like have multi-use items. It's just that like usually in adventure games, each item, like at least like older adventure games, each item is like one use and then you throw it away. Trapdoor? Oh. Hey, look, more trams. Yay! The boarded up entrances indicate that the trams have been out of service for some time. Do we have something to open it with? The drill, maybe?
I don't think this will fit.
Where do we go then? The trams grip the tracks greedily with their many legs. Magnetic stoppers of the tram's railcars will sturdier than many other parts of this aging vessel. Okay, where do I go though? Doesn't look like there's anything else. I mean, oh, wait, you can go this way. Never mind.
There's some sort of interference with the structure.
I'm in a tram station.
What the? Oh, more holograms or whatever. What?
I am pressurizing the raw materials containment tank.
Yeah, come in.
John, thank goodness, I can hear you. You just disappeared. No radio, no PDT.
Who the hell was that?
Dr. Gerardus Milan, head of special projects.
He knew you.
It's a big ship. And, I'm in a different division to him entirely. Only met him once. A real arsehole.
Just want to get my family out of this goddamn place.
That's the plan.
Oh, they should not have done this. Because it looks very weird to have all this liquid kind of like reflecting the top of the room and it doesn't reflect the character. Like, I'm of the opinion that you shouldn't like do these effects if you can't fully support them. Like, this looks nice, except for when the character is on top of it.
Personal data tag. Every person on board has one.
Like animals.
The tags monitor everything. Security access, food intake, location tracking.
Everyone has a tag. We can use it to find my family.
I'm afraid it doesn't work like that, John.
Like hell it doesn't. If I'm tagged, then so are they. You said.
I can only access your tag because the DotMate scanners registered you. I've scanned for your family and I can't pick them up.
Oh no.
Are they on the ship? Have they been rescued?
It only means that PDTs haven't been activated. But I still have an idea that might just work.
That might just work. I love it when they make it in games like the idea might just work. It's a 1,000,000 to 1 chance, but it just might work. It's like,
From the crew quarters, you should be close to an infirmary with a DNA sequencer. If you get your blood into the sequencer, I can scan the ship for familial DNA. And then we can find your daughter.
Is that so?
Use her DNA to find Ellen.
Exactly.
Notice, reserve power facilities are online. Backup systems are now enabled and functioning at benchmark levels.
The outside temperature is minus.
Yay. Anyway, I think this is probably it for today. Like, it's like an interesting the way you make sense of those. It's like a very unlikely story. I mean, yeah, again, but you know, like kind of like trying to explain away why everything is only like one use and one use only. That, hold on, let me come. Hi. That would only work if the item that, like the items that you are having. Oh no, I didn't mean it that way. I mean like there's a chance it might work. I love like the improbability of that statement and that it's like always used in narrative structures. You know, it's like it just might work kind of thing. I find it funny. I don't find it like contrived or anything. I think though, well, I did say I was gonna stream for like another hour. This is probably like my limit at this point. It's like almost 1 a.m. So it's probably like a good idea to kind of just like call it. It's not like there's like anyone that I follow that like we could be writing anyway, so might as well just like go to bed. I'm like decently invested into this game, so we're gonna have another look tomorrow. Hey, also Ghost Rider is still here and he wants a dad joke. Give me a moment, good sir. I'll get you the dumbest dad joke that you can, like 1,500 points can buy. Still here, yes. I mean, me too. Although I do need some sleep. Generate. Okay, let's see. Oh, this is kind of weird. It's generating a few that like it's only like the answers. It's kind of dumb. It's like a lot of weird ones. I don't like this. Oh, that's like a good one. Okay, so my doctor told me I was going deaf. I'm gonna be honest. The news was hard for me to hear. Oh no. Oh, that was like a properly dumb one. Nice. Anyway, I hope that was like a decent one for the redemption. Yeah. Doesn't work here. Kick W. I mean, it doesn't work here because I don't have like haven't set up like Frankerface Z or whatever it's called, or like BTTV. I don't think Kick W is like a like an official Twitch emote, to be honest. I always assumed it was like either like a Franker Face Z or like a BT TV, whatever it's called, like Better Twitch TV. There's like a way to search for emotes. You laughed. I mean, if you enjoyed it. Yeah, there's like no KEKW in like the official like Twitch emote database. Out of curiosity, let's see. Yeah, KEKW is a Franker Face Z extension Twitch emote featuring an image of a Spanish comedian and actor Juan Joya Borja, better known as the Spanish laughing guy. Yeah. So yeah, I haven't actually like set up FFZ or whatever it's called, so it wouldn't be showing up anyway. Richie does. I mean, I guess. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed like 30 minutes of gameplay and like 2 hours of me talking about dumb game design stuff. Haven't seen the video? No. Like with me, it's probably always better to assume that I haven't seen like a pop culture reference. I'm somehow really bad at keeping up with those. Like the last meme video that I've watched was the God, what's it called? Like the coffin dancing guys. I don't remember what the song is called though. Like I know what the song is called, but I don't remember at the moment. God, what was it? You linked it? Wait. Oh, yeah, there we go. I'll just like watch after stream. Oh wait, no, I've seen the source for this, like the guy laughing. Yeah. I know who the guy is, but the emote itself is what's it called? I need to set up Franker Face Z on my channel before it would work in the add-on. So yeah, my apologies for that. Just like never paid enough attention to it. Yeah, I've seen the video, the original, like on like Know Your Meme or whatever the kind of thing that he does. But yeah, anyway, it's like probably a good time for me to go to bed. No one's still online for me to raid. So yeah, we'll be back tomorrow with a bit more of Stasis. In this case, I might actually not do this day in gaming, to be honest, because, you know, get like an extra hour to play the game in. Until tomorrow, have a lovely rest of the evening, or night, or day, as it may be, this week in gaming. I mean, that might be just like a stream of its own, like 3 hours, just like reading those out. But yeah, like the reason mostly is that I would like to get like 1 more hour of the actual game in, if I'm being honest. Anyway, have a lovely rest of the evening and hope you enjoyed what you saw. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.